Is this the show your D20s stream?
I don't know. I'm just doing what he's doing. With my gay giant D20.
It's Pride Month.
It is Pride Month.
I dropped it.
Pride Month.
Cut this out.
I'll keep this in solidarity.
All audio listeners are now deaf.
Cut this out.
Hi guys. Welcome to the Six Pack Podcast, episode 11, second one in double digits. We have a guest who has been very gracious to switch the schedule up at the last possible moment, but we will get to them in a second. Harry.
Hello.
Shan.
Yeah.
Do you have any housekeeping?
Any housekeeping for this time? I don't think I did anything too crazy
I'm
last time.
sorry for dropping my giant D20 if this doesn't get cut out.
It will not get cut out, partly because I'm too lazy to edit the VOD. But in the comments, you can have people yell at you.
No, that would just make me anxious. Don't do that.
I have no housekeeping to say apart from happy Pride Month and happy not E3 week. Happy Jeff Keighley week. Jeff Keighley's gonna go on that stage.
I'd
He's got
rather
Jeff
not
Keighley.
have a Jeff Keighley week if that's okay with you. I think 1 week a year is already enough.
Keighley
It's only one
He
day.
killed E3.
It's Key 3.
Oh no,
that's good. That's a good one.
I
I hate to admit it. That's a good
my
one.
Pride Month off with Key 3.
Key 3.
No.
Well,
Food for thought.
the only thing I have to say about our good friend Jeff Keighley is at least he's doing something, because if we wasn't doing anything, we wouldn't have anything right now. So good for him.
I just wish I didn't have to see him when he does it.
You can mute him.
That's all.
Tomorrow is also PlayStation.
Yeah, State of Play. Which
State of Play.
what's the point of Summer
I don't
Games Fest
know.
if we're just gonna have a State of Play earlier? What's the point? What's the point of it all?
Well,
what is the point?
there are other platforms other than PlayStation, Shan.
That's why I said Summer Games Fest.
Yeah.
Summer Game Fest is just one of them. We can afford to have, they're just, it's one flavor, one spec. It's like D&D campaigns. You can
And
have
it will
multiple.
be
But I'm just saying,
remote.
why would you not promote those games at Summer Games Fest?
Because you wanna have your own, right?
They're
watching that.
very expensive.
Yeah.
I think is the answer.
Then maybe we shouldn't have. Don't make me say it.
We shouldn't have created the Torment Nexus from the Torment Nexus. Don't create the Torment Nexus.
Excellent. Moving
Rest in
swiftly
peace,
on.
E3.
Speaking of Torment Nexuses, welcome to the
he's so
podcast.
annoying.
Welcome, sir. The floor is yours.
Yeah. Well, hello everyone. I'm Elthanriel, or Andy, if you want to call me an easier name to pronounce. I've been part of the Nat6 community since about September last year, so 9 months, going strong. Found it, I think, randomly through a Matt Mercer and Ben Starr interview that they had. I can't remember what platform it was.
Yes, that one.
And then I hadn't really heard of Ben Starr before that, because I did
Good for you.
maybe.
Genuinely.
But then I just sort of investigated what he was up to and found Nat6, and the rest is history.
And I have also met Andy in person. We will talk about that a little bit. I have still not met Shan in person. It's on my bucket list.
As I
should
like
be
to
on-
say, I'm
Should be
poor
on
and
everyone's
American.
bucket list.
Part of the achievements, like 100% completion, 100% like natural six completion.
If you want to get the platinum trophy, you've got to
Yeah.
meet Shan.
Yeah.
Platter Shan trophy. I don't know.
So, Andy.
Yep.
What about D&D? What about tabletop in general? Tell us about your origin story.
I mean, do you want the long, boring details or just the highlights? Because this goes back to early 90s. So when I was about 12 or 13 was when I got first introduced. I blame it all on my older brothers because, why not? But I probably would have fallen into this anyway without their influence. But yeah, so back in AD&D time, we were playing, did various other games, Pathfinder, Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. There was a Star Wars universe setting that we played in as well. Yeah, so pretty much constantly since about then. We've taken a few years off when people got jobs and moved away and did other things, but then we kind of picked it back up again mid 2000s, and then I've been basically playing D&D ever since in its various editions. And since about 2010, I've basically been a forever DM. It feels like forever DM, but it's only
So 15 years of DM. That's good. That's good. That's getting the definitely. You got like, I don't know how many notches on your belt for 15 years.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Right.
And DMing in with D&D or with a different system?
mostly D&D, but have done a bit of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, D&D, GMing, and we did start this random superhero game, which I started DMing for about a month, and then it just fell apart, so didn't carry on with that. But
Warhammer Dark Heresy or different system?
Is it masks or
no, it's just a standard fantasy roleplay.
Standard one. Okay. Yep.
The 2.0.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Those who know. I'll wait for the comments. Cursing my name for even mentioning Dark Heresy.
Of course, one other thing as well, an internal sort of elephant in the room as well, is that you are also a DM for the DM for the campaign that I'm also in as well.
Yeah, I didn't want to kind of highlight that because
No,
we could talk about that all night if we.
Oh, we absolutely
let us.
could, but I think that's an important, extra little interesting detail because that also came about through the Natural Six looking for
Indeed.
group Discord
Yeah.
server.
Yeah, so
Yes.
that origin story is probably worth highlighting because the campaign that Harry and a few of the others on the Discord are in was actually a long-running campaign that I was running with my brothers and his friends previously, and they're getting to the point now. This was meant to be we kind of schedule it once a month, although it very rarely happens that regularly. There's sometimes 2 or 3 months in between, but so it's been ongoing for a long time through COVID and everything. And there was a particular part of the storyline that they didn't quite kind of wrap up as well as I wanted them to. And nearing the end of the campaign, I wanted to know what was specifically going to happen with some of those characters in that arc. So I thought a good way of doing that would just to be rerun it with different people. And actually, that's what worked out really well because this new bunch of people have engaged in the whole backstory and lore of my world in a completely different way to the previous group, and made me kind of develop a lot more in the history side of it and flesh out a lot more, which is it's just been really good because it kind of got me back interested in the story that I'd originally written, because it got to the point where it was starting to feel a little bit stale, having dragged on for so long, and with such a gap between the sessions, it kind of you don't keep the momentum going. But now, like running it every Sunday as we do, or pretty much every Sunday, and the amount of engagement these guys have got with the story is really helping.
Very cool. Very cool. We will talk about looking for a group when I do a little rundown of MCM here in a little bit.
Hmm.
Very cool. How long have you guys been running that?
Gosh. Find when
Since
you put
about
out the list.
October, November time, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Something
I
yeah.
think it started in September because like I was thinking like, yeah, this won't run. This isn't gonna run too long. I got time.
Yeah.
And then like it ran into October, which ended up being the hell month for me. So I was kind of responsible for having to like delay a few sessions. So this is my apology, my formal apology to the group.
That's fine. The
But, yeah.
scheduling gods are always a problem for D&D. But
That's
yeah,
why
it
I've
was,
never found a group, because I don't have a consistent schedule that would actually be beneficial to a group, and it sucks because I'd love to play, but I work at Starbucks.
yeah. And that's the other thing. I when I originally pitched it to these guys, I thought I could perhaps run it as a one shot or like a mini series. And it started off as a mini series, and I thought, well, perhaps 5 sessions. Turned out to be about 7. And then at the end of that, I was like, you know what? I enjoy playing with you guys. The group dynamic's really good. Do you want to continue? And it was a resounding yes. So I obviously feel like I'm doing something right if people keep coming back.
Definitely. Hold that thought, Shan, about one-shots and not having time to schedule. Remind me when we talk about looking for group a little bit later. Very cool. I think Andy, Carrie, and I are part of the watch party rules lawyering group. I think we're probably the most like nah guys. Like,
I help sometimes.
that's not you're misbehaving.
Sometimes.
Andy's more up on the D&D rules than I am.
And I try and look at it
But you
from a
mean
DM
D&D
perspective as
rules.
well, which because a lot of people don't have that experience, so it's sometimes useful to chime in.
Definitely. Cool. Shan,
Yeah.
your question for Andy.
The question?
The question. I've
time.
added an additional question.
Oh, let me look then, so I can make sure I don't miss
I have
the
also
additional
added an
question.
additional question. I thought about adding a separate additional question, which
Oh,
My God,
Which
we're
we-
breaking
this-
format.
if we ever have a certain person on this show, this is gonna be the easiest question. I don't even need to ask this question. Okay. All right.
So there's an additional
continue.
question, but with the person who had to reschedule it at the last minute, I did talk about a different question, which actually got asked during the last cantrip, which we might do going forward, which was what are the best, and this has been in the Discord as well. What are your top 5 games of all time? So we might do like top 3 games or something like that going forward, but
That's nice.
we do have a spicy question for Andy after this. But
I mean, I
Shan,
know the answer to this question, the real answer, the true answer.
the
to
correct
this
answer.
question.
You know the correct answer to this
correct
question.
answer to this question.
This question.
All right, so-
Go ahead, Shan.
I'll ask the general question first, which is, what is your favorite polyhedral dice? Your die? And then I always say dice. I know it's die. I don't give a crap.
Yeah.
And then what's your favorite number?
Well, I don't discriminate between my dice, apart from the D4. I hate
They're
the
all
D4.
your favorite.
Yeah, but the D4, if it's on the floor and I step on it, I really hate it. Especially the new ones that have got a very pointy edge from that 6. I as a DM, I actually like rolling a lot of dice at once, so probably I'd say a D8 because there's quite a few spells or dragon breath attacks or something that you can pick up a nice fistful of D8s and chuck them down.
It feels good, right?
Yeah.
It's also a power move. It's always just like a power move when you just see like, oh, does anyone have any D8s I can borrow? And then you just bring them behind the screen and you just hear the sound of just like,
50
dice
hitting the
noises.
table.
Mhm.
Yeah. and then you spend the next 30 seconds trying to add it all up.
That's a good answer. That's a
It-
really
that is
insightful
a great
answer.
That is a great answer. Having played a
Mhm.
cleric in a previous campaign, and many cleric spells are also D8 or D6, I can relate.
Mhm.
But number, sir.
Well, if it's a D8, I'd have to go with 8 because obviously you want to see a lot of
Yes.
I wanna
max,
see a lot of
max
eights.
numbers.
All right. And then here's our spicy question that I already know the answer to, the correct answer. Which Final Fantasy is the best Final Fantasy?
I'm going to be outcast as a heretic here because I honestly have only really played one Final Fantasy extensively, and that's Final Fantasy 8.
That's fine. You're Ben's favorite now.
Because I spent a lot of my university degree not actually going to lectures and playing Final Fantasy 8 instead.
Excellent.
I apologise to all my professors that probably won't be listening to this. So.
The correct answer is 10-2.
Harry, what is
Hello,
the
yeah?
best Final? What is the
Oh.
best Final? Or what is the best Final Fantasy?
Yeah, in your
Yeah.
opinion.
So the best Final Fantasy game is okay, hold on a second.
Just gotta think about it.
One
He's
moment.
like bringing up the list of all the
My-
Final Fantasy
my
games.
real
Shan, can you go
answer-
first? Can you go first, Shan?
She's already gone. She
It's-
said
well,
10
I
too.
mean, it's
Oh,
really
fudge.
hard, right? Because
Mhm.
like,
Yeah, keep
I've
talking,
played-
keep talking.
Go ahead, take your time. I've played 2 of what are arguably the best Final Fantasy games. I've played 10. I haven't finished 10 because I got stuck, but I know how 10 ends. I've played 10, and I've played 7, which all I have left in 7 is to beat Sephiroth. So obviously, I also know all about 7. I've played discs 1, 2, and most of 3. So it's really tough to actually pick because I think those 2 are like, those are the 2 that are always like, they're always the top of somebody's list. And it's so hard to kind of say which is why I usually go with my first Final Fantasy, which was 10-2, because it's fun, it's camp, it's still got sad stuff. I still got things that don't make sense to me, even though I've played both of them now. But 10-2 is just, the music is great. The music is so fun. And so I usually just go 10-2 because it's easier than me having to pit 2 of my favorite children against each other, because like it is really tough between 10 and 7. Really tough. Rides
Harry,
a shoe puff.
your answer.
Yeah, what's your answer?
The joke answer: Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin.
I knew it.
He's funny guy. He want to kill chaos. The real answer, because again, I haven't, Final Fantasy isn't my full like series. The real answer is Final Fantasy 14, just because
I mean,
of how
yeah.
much specifically everything from that. I mean, Shadowbringers and Endwalker especially. So going from that, Heavensward was also just kind of like a fudgy
Heavensward is
experience.
peak. Heavensward is peak.
The real answer would be to say Expedition 33. So there you go. You get 3. You get my 3 favorite Final Fantasy.
Your 3 best Final Fantasy.
I thought
3
we
best.
agreed that Expedition 33 was Xenoblade.
Yeah,
not
it's also
Final Fantasy.
Xenoblade
It's
as well.
also
Okay.
For the
Xenoblade, yeah.
hypothetical,
You're only
I'm
saying
throwing
this
that one in
because
there.
you're saying this because Clive Rossfield is in this game. That's why, right?
No,
That's why it's a Final Fantasy game.
no, I'm not. It's because
Right.
they keep.
Right.
It's because everyone keeps saying it's like it's a Final Fantasy game.
I don't know. I didn't get that.
I don't
I
have that
don't-
vibe with it, but
I don't have that vibe either with it.
I
and,
agree with
like,
you.
Yeah, I don't understand Final, but the Final Fantasy fans have been a little annoying about it. But it doesn't. The turn-based here is far more strategy-based, in my opinion, than I remember ever feeling playing other ones. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not good at strategy, but like I was strategizing like a monster playing this game, trying to line everything up just the way I needed to like get my my Phantom Stars or my Gommage or my like however you say Stendhal, whatever, the crazy one. Like I was lining up, getting everything lined up, and like when I play Final Fantasy, it feels like I'm just waiting for my turn, and I don't like, and that's just me because I wasn't good at strategizing when I was young because I was young and dumb. But yeah, it's just I don't get Final, like I don't know what I get from it because I play so many, like not so many different kinds of games, but like it just feels like Expedition 33 to me.
Oh
Maybe
yeah,
that's
I
because
agree.
it's French. Maybe it's because it's a JPG.
I'm fully saying it just because like every time I've seen like Final Fantasy being like, oh, Expedition 33 is just like Final Fantasy.
I
I'm
can't
putting
believe
it in
you
there
let
for
that
that.
joke lie. I
No.
can't believe you let that joke lie. That's crazy. That's
Oh.
the best joke I'm gonna make all day. I called it a JPG.
Yeah, that's a good. That's a good one.
Thank
That's a
you.
good
Thank
joke.
you. I'm very
That is
funny.
a good
Thank
joke.
you.
Merci, Shan.
Big
Merci.
clap.
Merci beaucoup.
The best Final Fantasy is 7. You heard it here first. But
Unpopular opinion. Very
very
unpopular
opinion.
opinion.
very
Okay.
unpopular opinion. But I have to say that the first one on the Super Nintendo does have a soft spot for me since I played it in a friend's basement early on in my life. And probably a close second to 7. Because 7 was really the one that I played on my own. The other ones I played with my friends or whatever at their place or whatever, because I didn't have a console growing up. 7 was available on PC, so that's the one that I really kind of vibe with, I guess. But Final Fantasy,
Gaming.
yeah, Final Fantasy Tactics is a close second for me.
Is it good? I want to play. My friend says it's good.
I
that's
don't
why
know
wanna
that
play.
it has aged that well.
Oh,
Is the only
okay.
problem, Shan. But
Dang. Because 14 references tactics from time to time.
yeah, definitely. So we will let you in the comments let us know what you think about the best Final Fantasy. Usual question, Andy, I guess, given that you did not catch these guys during the Kickstarter, we will not ask you what your backer number is, where Harry gets to do his flex.
Where me and Harry, day one Discord joiners.
Backer 3. Let's go.
Yeah,
Backer
no one's
3.
topping that. Like, very few, obviously only two people can
are
top
topping
that.
There are 2 people who are literally topping that.
And you got to figure like backer 1 and backer 2 are like Holly's mom, Doug's wife. Yeah. So Harry got in early. All right. Cool. Anything else you guys would like to ask Andy before we move on?
As a forever DM, okay?
Yep.
As a forever DM, do you ever wish you'd have like a specific like character in your head as like a PC that you wish you could play? I mean, like I don't know if you do stuff like occasional DM PCs, that kind of thing. But if you didn't have to do the DMing, class and species and all of that kind of jazz, what would you want to be going with?
Well, I did do one shot as a player fairly recently as a human ranger gloomstalker, which is kind of boring. I think the next character I would play would be a sorcerer, maybe I can't remember the subclass now. Clockwork Soul, was that the right one?
I have to look it up, but I think yeah.
I think that's right.
Clockwork Soul, sorcerer, yes.
Yeah.
And I'd probably play an Asima.
That's good. A classic.
Oh yeah, I have seen the restore balance is a very cool mechanic.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Very cool mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Do you remember your first character, Andy?
I get reminded of this every so often because, like, my brother always reminds me of stupid stuff I've done. It never lets me lie.
Those are brothers, man.
Yeah, I played a halfling fighter because I basically finished reading Lord of the Rings, so I wanted to be a halfling.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason on my character sheet, I'd written out all my rations in breakfast, lunch, and tea, and second breakfast, and all of that. So they just keep reminding me of that and taking the mickey as they do.
Halfling Fighter second edition would have been rough, right? Because didn't Halfling have penalties to strength rolls?
Yeah, but you could make a dex build still in second edition.
Yeah, you were really limited on the weapons you could use,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were taking the you were playing hard mode.
I didn't realise I was playing hard mode at the time, but it was fun.
I think that's a very DM thing to do, though. Just to start your first character out in hard mode, right? Yeah. Very cool. All right. Last podcast review, guys. Have you looked at any of the comments?
I peek in sometimes. Let me pull it up.
There were a few nice
Scared
ones.
to.
There were a few nice
I
ones.
don't use this browser.
There's some nice ones, and then there'll be other ones that are like, that Harry guy. What the hell is he doing?
Oh, I delete those ones.
Oh. Wait, what?
all 100 of them, yeah.
There's more comments than there are views on the VODs.
That's scary.
They're all hate comments.
People are nice.
fuming.
People are generally nice to us.
I'm always waiting for people to be
Yeah, everyone is lovely.
mean to me, but at least Kenneth slightly agrees with me.
If people are like dunking on me, it is for a good reason, because I've said something like absolutely wild about like
I don't think
geography.
I don't think anyone has been dunking on you.
I will say though, I did get rightfully shown my place when it comes to the whole Basil Brush situation.
Oh, the Basil
Brush situation, the
Yeah.
Boston situation.
You did
the
get
Boston
dunked on,
incident.
Yes.
Makes it sound like
I have to admit. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
How was
Nothing
it
to
then?
say to our loyal listeners then.
I opened the
good.
video and it was the bit where I was explaining to you that you had to skip ahead because I flipped off Ben in my picture.
Bing, bing. Very, very quick. Everyone's got
forgot about
that,
that.
like, that's probably the place where it's like there's a peak in the
Yeah.
The most replayed section.
most replayed
Yeah.
section. Exactly.
That was real
exactly.
cute though. The picture was cute.
The analytics were good. Lots of people did mention to me in passing that they enjoyed the PAX East Redux.
I'm glad
and
it felt really long.
it let people kind of get a feel for, especially people who are kind of on the fence. We've got a lot of people in October for MCM and also for this go round that were first time con goers. So it's nice for them to get a feel for what that experience is like and a bit of what to expect. So that's great.
Yeah.
Right. It's that time. News, guys. We will go to our screen share.
Such a lovely picture. I'm scrolled down a little bit.
Scroll down. Oh yeah, that is a good
It's
picture.
a lovely picture. I think that's the one they shared on Instagram.
Yeah,
That's very nice. Good to know
very nice picture.
that they're all there.
It seems like they had a good time at PAX East. I know, Shan, you had a nice time.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't really had anyone with anything negative to say about the whole experience at all, PAX East, including...
Well, it's only a few of us who ended up, that we're aware of, that ended up being there, so.
Yeah. So all good.
Seems like it was a fun convention.
It was.
Oh my
There's
gosh,
always a ton to do.
Yeah, I mean, this was MCM.
Yeah,
it
I
was
like the-
absolutely rammed. Yeah.
I like that for every time they've done one at MCM EGX, they've always like taken the little like selfie with the crowd. And like
Oh, I
it's
wish
really
we had
fun.
that, yeah.
Oh, but no, it's really fun seeing the selfie from 2023 and then the one that they did in October, and then like this one, the seemingly exponential increase of crowd size is like
Yeah.
wild. Fun.
We'll get to it here in a second, a little bit more about it, but merch drop merch drop 2.
You mean the lack of a merch drop?
Yeah, well,
I mean, obviously,
all 7
I
minutes
have
of
no
it or
hard
whatever.
feelings. Yeah, so
All 7 minutes of it or whatever. Yeah.
yeah.
Harry,
15 minutes.
15 minutes in total.
Yeah.
But most of the stuff was gone after like, I don't know,
Oh.
5 or 10, right?
Sorry,
So-
the cat slipped and got me a little bit. I'm good.
Specifically, in terms of the specifics.
Harry,
of it,
you
I
have
believe-
you have the split times, do you not?
Yeah, I do have the split times. Hold on, just quickly getting it up. Sorry, it's trying to message Shan real quick, and I don't want
Oh.
to do that. I want to message no one. I want to find me. Here we are. Yeah, the actual breakdown was the dice sold out in seconds, like what,
Yeah.
30 seconds basically. Godkiller shirts all sold out in 3 minutes, but again, lesser if you were like small, lesser for like the small and medium sizes.
Yeah.
Pin and tote bag, that was like 5 minutes. Newly Dead t-shirt rerun, 6 minutes. Jacket in 7 minutes, and the stickers and burgundy shirt were all done in about 15 minutes. And then, yeah. So bigger merch drop this time, and quicker clear out. I don't know what the phrase is. Quicker speed run. I jokingly named like the thing. Jokingly like named the chat the any % merch drop speed run, and like that's actually what it turned out to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not. I did not get anything. I did not get anything
Yeah,
that was in my
sorry,
cart
Harry.
because it kept getting out of stock.
Did
Yeah,
you
I
have
had
problems with the payment stuff, Harry, or
Like-
were you?
Yes, but it was specifically the PayPal dialogue being annoying. PayPal was like, "Hey, we've updated our UI, so we need you to like sign in again." And then I signed in, and it was like, "We want you to verify on your phone," and I'm like, "Oh, god damn it, it's over. It's so over."
Yeah.
Because I do it beforehand. The trick of what you got to do beforehand is like sign into PayPal a tiny bit
get
earlier, so you've
everything-
got like the thing on it. This was the day PayPal was like, no, we're gonna really check it's you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the other thing, which I will say this was more, I think, like again a PayPal Shopify thing. So if you're listening and you're from PayPal or Shopify, I got some words for you, buddy. But the main thing was that it got really confused when you wanted to have like a different delivery address to your billing address. For some reason, Shopify was being like, "I don't get it. I don't understand.
I don't
And-
understand how this can be true.
I do not understand how this can be true." I just realized it has been like 20 minutes already that you're wearing the denim jacket. I've just realized.
I am wearing the denim jacket. Yes. In fact,
Were you wearing this whole time and I just didn't
He
notice?
has been, yes.
Uh,
the whole
yes.
time.
It's all right. We were hoping that you would by chance, because you'll notice that the rest of us are merged up here, that you would by chance end up with the Newly Dead
I'm under attack.
t-shirt, but it didn't happen.
Not today. That's still in the wash.
It didn't happen.
Not today. It would have been. Damn. You could have told me that before we started recording, and I would have done it.
You know, you were busy.
Dang.
I
were busy.
had.
Got the
I was
Oxventure
just-
one, at least.
Oh, that's still relevant.
Mhm.
I was trying to just get an extra pin, maybe some stickers to make the shipping worth it. But I left my phone upstairs, and so I could not do PayPal.
Oh, you couldn't do
fast
the
enough.
secondary verification, right? Yeah.
Yep. And I didn't want to run away to get my phone, so I was trying to see how fast I could get done. So
Yeah.
I was like, surely the pins won't sell out because they were one of the middle things to sell out last time. No, they were like the third thing to sell out.
There wasn't that many left actually.
No, so-
They sold really well at MCM from
I'm sure.
from what I saw.
Pins-
Yeah.
Pins sell really good. That's why PAX, one of PAX, Reed Pop specifically, but New York Comic Con and PAX will both do it, are very big about pins, especially PAX. PAX is like a big pin trading thing, so pins are big. Pins are pretty big, but I was
Pins are big.
bummed because I was like, well, I can't really justify ordering stickers, so Thankfully, I had an in and I got my merch beforehand because like I probably won't be able to get merch anymore if this is what merch drops are going to be like, which kind of sucks.
You gotta feel like if there is one in Q4, as Holly has kind of implied, that hopefully they will go to MCM in October.
Yeah.
And that they will get a feel for the number or the amount that they want to potentially hold back or whatever for things going forward.
Yeah, because like good thing, bad thing. It's like, hold on, my sister's cat keeps chewing on my headphone cable. So if you hear me going stop, that was me to her. Like plus side, downside, like everybody set alarms and took off for this merch drop because they had FOMO from the last one, and so that kind of bummered out a lot of other people who like were also planning to be able to do that. So it's kind of like a plus side, downside.
Yeah, I
but
mean,
like,
it's a tricky situation to be in for sure.
Yeah. Like I don't blame anybody. It just kind of like
No.
because I know some people were
It's nobody's fault.
genuinely mad, but it's like that. What else are we gonna do? There's no better option. You just kind of have to hope for the best.
Nope.
As Holly said, like one day, I think I don't know like where, but as Holly said in one of the chats, like one day she will be able to give her mum the dream job of managing the Natural Six warehouse.
Yeah.
But until then, which like is funny.
Yeah,
I'm cool. I gotta you play the game. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
When
the luck of the thing.
Certainly when we saw them, and this is probably the last thing I'll say on this specifically, is they were tired.
Yeah.
It was May was a long month for them.
Long month, yeah.
Right? Lots of travel. These events, they're brutal, right? You got to be totally switched on for multiple days, right? And there's a ton of grab on your time, effectively. And then they all go back to working their day jobs, right? Right? On, Monday morning or whatever. So, hopefully they'll be able to space the physical event stuff out a little bit, going forward. Right. And
I still have hopes and dreams.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, Shan. I mean, Holly's already said that they're so busy here during June that they won't be doing a Action Surge packing stream.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like,
which kills the FOMO of not getting an order, to be honest, because half of it's just like everyone also wants their order to be included on stream.
Yeah, the experience of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was very lucky to have got stuff at MCM, which you are currently seeing. Dice included, which we'll get to roll later. Andy, you got some goodies as well.
Yeah, I got the dice and the Newly Dead and Godkiller's t-shirt because I missed out on the Newly Dead first time round.
Lovely.
Due to PayPal.
Thank you, PayPal. Such a cool service. Oh, also, PayPal doesn't like doing the automatic conversion of USD to GBP. Dang you, PayPal.
Yeah. Also problematic. So June's going to be another packed month for content, though. For those of you who are in the US, and maybe got a chance to go to PAX East and felt like, oh, well, everybody else got to see the episodes and stuff. You need not worry any longer. The MCM live show and Smasher Pass will be available on Patreon for your viewing and listening pleasure here in June, which is very cool.
Thank you, MCM, for having a camera.
Thank you, MCM, for
I mean, the
recording
setup was on point, I have to say. Being there, Maybe it was partly because they were on the main stage, and that was a big change. But yeah, great to have that, obviously. So that stuff will all be available on Patreon, which is very cool. And
I upped
we got.
my
Oh, you upped your tier,
patronage.
Shan?
I did. Yeah, I've been wanting to do it for a while, and I canceled a couple of other things I wasn't really using, so I upped it. And then I changed my name because I realized nobody was going to know it was me either because my name is really goofy on Patreon, so now I'm findable.
Yeah, so we should get some good stuff. Once again, the Spoiler crew has been speculating extensively about Elowin's memories.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens there. Hopefully we'll get a nice
I'm so behind on those.
additional story from Holly, which has been cool. Yeah, got lots of good stuff coming here in June.
Mm-hmm.
We do have some other cast news.
Mm-hmm. I added one that you forgot.
Thank you, Shan.
It's because you want to forget it. I know.
I
deep
did
down.
forget.
I know you want to forget.
I'm not. I don't want to forget it. I just there's so many things in June. It's unlikely I'll have time to play it. But so a few of us have already got our tickets for Harry's live RPG show in London in September. So if you want to check out that, I put the links in Discord, I think. Maybe I'll put them in the description here or in the comments below. So if you want to check that out, it's at the Adelphi in London
So close
on
to
the 16th of September. It's quite cool. So
I'll just
that'll be
say
fun.
I love that the cover art, the cover art, the promotional image for this is just like Harry like pondering his like two orbs, like pondering the orb, but like he's put Russell Kane and Daniel Sloss in polyhedral orbs, and it's got aura. Why did he put him in there? He's trapped him in the orbs. Oh no.
It does have orbs. If you do decide to go and you'd like to see a few of us, I think there's at least 5 or 6 of us who have already confirmed going. We've already got our tickets. Please, there is now a thread on Discord in the meetings and conventions. We'd love to see you if you are planning to go down to London in September.
Ripperoni, right, Adira? Right.
Cool. Next, here in a couple weeks, or less than now, 10 days, the Altars will release. Alex, of course, his kind of, I guess, his first magnum opus. Hopefully he has multiple of them, where he is playing the main character and all 11 other versions. So may that be good.
I know we were talking about this on like a call, but like Alex Jordan has the potential to do the funniest thing possible, to have the funniest category possible in the Game Awards this year, or something like that. I'm really hoping it's really good, just because it'd be extremely funny just for the entire like performer in a leading role category to just all be Alex Jordan. Like that would be hilarious.
Everyone is Alex Jordan.
Everyone is Alex Jordan.
I think it would be very funny.
Yeah.
And there's a high likelihood of this happening. That Ben and Alex are both up for said award.
Yep.
I have high hopes that the Altars will be good. So, but we will have to wait 10 days for that. Shan has reminded me, and maybe I'll just I can bring up the store page.
Yeah, let's do it.
Steam.
We've been waiting a long time for this one, fellas.
So I'll bring up the store page. So this is the altars. Yeah. And Shan probably wants me to.
I want to also play the altars now that I'm done Expedition 33.
It was.
I think it's on.
You cannot
sale.
currently buy it on Steam,
Can
which
you wish
I'm
list it?
kind of worried about at some level. There's still no price. You can definitely add it to your wish list, but I'm not sure why that is.
I have it open now,
But
too.
whatever. But this
That is
so
weird.
on the PlayStation Store right now, I think it's $40, Shan. The altars. It's £25 here in the UK. So it's a good price. It's a good price currently. This is the one though that Shan has reminded me of, which is Date Everything, which has Ben Starr in it.
It has
up here
everybody in it, to be
on
honest.
the 17th of June. Yeah, it's got a massive voice cast.
Because you can date everything.
Absolutely huge.
They just
and,
dropped the demo.
The immersive
as
sim.
well.
Yeah,
The
and I think
immersive sim.
immersive
of
sim,
dating.
yeah. And I think it is also $40. You will be seeing here, if you're watching on YouTube, the UK price, which is currently $26.99.
Yeah, it's $30 for the base game, and it's on sale right now. It's $26.99 in the United
Okay.
States. And then with the DLC, it is on sale for $31.49 because it's on sale until it comes out.
Okay, so it's direct
base is
conversion
35.
on the currency. Okay,
Yes. Yeah, base is 35.
cool. Yeah, so check it out. Those guys will be releasing.
Ben is a door. Many of you can finally live your dreams and date Ben Starr, but he's a door named Dorian.
Yes.
He's a bouncer and he has a funny accent to go with it.
I
I'll
think
let you picture what I think a funny bouncer accent sounds like.
are the
You'll
doors
probably get it right.
are each of the doors slightly different?
No, I think they're all Ben.
Well, no, but yeah, but are the different doors like different facets of Ben? Is Ben is Ben doing the altars but for Date Everything?
I mean, you're gonna have to play the game, Harry, and find
Yeah,
out.
we're gonna have to play the game. You
Um,
can check out the demo and see if that gives
and
you
see if
any
Ben's
answers.
actually in it. Andy, are you vibing with either of these games?
Maybe the altars, but
Hmm.
definitely not date everything.
That's okay. Same with Doc. He has no interest in having fun and whimsy.
I mean, I might play.
You don't
Like I
want to
said,
date the air fryer fryer?
No, not
Uh,
really.
it's not high on my list of things to do, Shan. But tell you what, I will let you buy it and play it, and you can tell us all about it.
Yeah.
It won't be the next episode, or it will be, because it'll be 2 weeks. It'll be release day for this next
have a
episode
live-
we record will be
Live
release day.
stream of Shan playing it.
Yeah,
I'll
Whilst
live stream it for
recording
the
this.
server. I don't care. I mean, I already
I
half
think
the server watched
that'd
me
be
cry
entertaining.
for 4 hours. So why not? Why
Yeah,
not play Date
that'd be
Everything?
entertaining.
I'll
Yeah, I will
pre-order
be.
right now.
I guess I'll be able to talk a little bit about the altars next time we get together. But last but not least, there is a new channel, I guess, called Ready Aim Fire that's been doing interviews with a few video
I
game personalities, I guess, actors, production people, etc. Doug has a very nice interview there, which you can check out. I will probably link it in the description as well. So if you want to check out Doug's interview, where he talks a little bit about Natcher 6, little Witcher history, it's out. Quite cool.
Shout out to him, by the way, for making fun of people who are mad that Ciri is the lead of The Witcher 4.
Oh, I mean,
I believe his quote was, "Read the damn books."
I mean, he seems
Love
really
Doug.
excited.
Yeah,
I mean,
he seems really excited. Me too.
there is right now out we do need to move on. But there is
Yeah.
right now out a
Little
Unreal tech demo where they've shown a little bit of gameplay. It looks fantastic,
Yeah.
as it should for a game engine demo.
My only comment on that is they said in that demo, they were like, and look in the foliage and all that, and now we have nanite foliage, which means you can model each individual leaf. And I literally audibly went, oh no. that's how I react to that. Like, you don't need cards anymore, you can model the individual leaves. Uh-oh.
Because you just know that on Unreal Marketplace, Harry, the next big thing will be the guys selling leaf packs.
Nanite leaves.
Now, nanite leaf packs, yes. I will say there were only 24 different modeled tree elements that were used to produce that whole thing. So at least there weren't hundreds of modeled things. But yeah.
It's just like technical nightmare just for me to fathom that's existing.
100%. 100%. But if you're on a project with 500 people working on it, right, then you probably need infrastructure to do that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Cool. I think that's it. Unless, Andy, have you got anything else news-wise
Nope. Nothing
that
else.
you'd like to mention?
Sorry about this cat, by the way.
If not,
Sorry.
I don't apologize for the cat. It gives us views.
Yep.
Yeah.
Catception. Cool. Doing lately. Do we want to do? Shall I do my MCM Redux first? Do you guys want me to do it at the end?
Whatever. I don't remember what we did last time.
Last time we did it first, I believe.
All right. I will try and be as succinct as possible while
Good luck.
trying
I had
to
a hard
give.
time doing that.
I don't have much to say this week anyway, so like, take the floor. All good.
Trying to give as much, and Andy can help me out because he was there. You were just there on Friday,
Just
Yeah.
Friday, yeah.
so he can help me out a little bit with a summary.
My only and first question about MCM though.
Yep.
How, like, proportion of people there? How many of them were Has Been Hotel cosplayers? Like, compared to last time, Doc, where like it was like an invasion.
It was nothing like last time. Definitely not.
It was an invasion of Has Been Hotel cosplay last time.
Yeah. So, no, it was not an invasion of Has Been Hotel.
Okay.
For sure. Maybe just to kind of kick things off with like how things were, natural 6 kind of like attendance, etc. point of view. Meet and greets were all, if you didn't get there early, you were kind of shut out. Andy, I think you were saying in the green room beforehand that you didn't manage to get.
No, I rocked up about midday by the time I got to the XL, and they'd already shut the queue by then. So I sat in the overflow bit for a while, and then the guy came over and said, "You've got no chance." So that's when I came and met the rest of you guys when you're having food.
Yeah. It was busy,
Very.
which was good for them. All the panels were packed. You guys have already seen the picture that they had. So they were on the main stage, which was big. It was about 50% larger, Harry, than October. So previously we only had the kind of two rows, and this was 4 rows, or 4 sets of rows. So about 50, like I said, about 50% larger. Totally full. It was the same for Smash or Pass. And yeah, just generally all round from a natural 6 perspective, very, very well attended. which was good. Which I think was good for the, for the possibility of them returning, and obviously them having the booth as well. Kind of offered those of us in the Discord and who were kind of primarily there for Natural Six, a kind of gathering point, right? So that was good. Just to say, and I will probably forget some people. I got gifts were exchanged from many people, as Harry can attest to, in October, which was very cool. A whole bunch of things were exchanged. Ooh, and he's got his.
So I've eaten the edible dice already, but that's the bracelet from Carrie. There's the pin somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to show up very well.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, that's the. So Pat gave out.
Dice bag.
Yeah, Pat gave out little U's to everybody, which was very cool.
That's
those
nice.
were. Oh, Shan's got one.
I have one.
Oh,
Got it with my
brilliant.
dice bag.
Oh,
Yeah.
because you got one directly from Pat, right? Yeah. So yes, Carrie gave out some very cool stuff. Pat gave out some very cool stuff. Mel, I think, was the one who gave out the dice bags that Annie was showing there.
Yep.
Like I said, I'm sure I'm forgetting people.
Andrew of the tea with the.
Andy had, Andrew, Mr. T himself was giving out the goodies. Shout out to Honey Badger Games, who I think Mr. T was saying he heard from us because I had got some stuff from them last October. Cool, really cool stuff. If you are interested in D&D related confectionery and teas and stuff like that. So yeah, very cool for the community to get together, be able to exchange gifts and stuff. We had the Friday meet and greet, which was pretty epic. It was, and I think maybe this is the best one. Yeah, Ronnie's got quite a few photos from, so I will switch over to the screen share here. So Rania had, a few of us had already seen the Eye cosplay before MCM. She brought the whole thing on the train from Germany. If you haven't met Rania in person, she has a certain aura that is kind of infectious for everybody. She's just so kind of, everything she does and says is so honest and kind of earnest. That, and she does everything with the best of intentions. Just a very, very special person to have in the community. And she did this unbelievable cosplay. She was the first one to go up on Friday and see everybody. It was very, very cool. And it was very, very cool for us to be able to be a part of that. Where I will grab the other photo, which is a selfie that I think she's got the one that I took. I think I've got to go to the reels here. Oh, maybe I was going to post. No, here we go. Where, and you can spot me. I think this is the selfie that I took. So we managed a few selfies with I. So we're the only people who have taken selfies with I. in the back is Faye, who had, I think, the first ever Endelian cosplay, which she showed on Discord, I think, as well beforehand. But that made kind of Holly's day to see that. I think she had mentioned to a few of us kind of in passing that she never thought that, Endelian would get cosplayed. I think Alex has also said in passing he'd never thought that I would ever be cosplayed, right?
I would take a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean it has definitely been a journey for Rania to get to to get
Seen
this
various works and progresses and holy fudge.
Yeah.
Holy fudge, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty cool to be with everybody in that experience, get a chance to made lots of I think everybody made fast friends with those people who were in the line. Lots of Discord members there, etc. I can confirm that Aoife has saged my tower. Is sitting over there. Ben usurped our towers, so spoiler for Shan, and anyone who has yet to see the one shot from MCM.
Andrew did tell me some things.
That both my and Mr. T's towers were used in the one shot, just like Shan's in the US. So we have a reputation to uphold now.
It's coming to every single convention that they're at,
Yeah.
One way or another.
At least they don't have to pack it. At least they don't have to pack it.
Exactly.
They know someone's gonna.
Yeah.
They know someone's gonna have
We're
one.
helping out. We're just helping the boys.
Although
We're not.
Yeah.
No one else. Just the guys.
Although I do need to ask in terms of like, what was the saging technique?
Yeah. How'd that work?
So I have a photo which I will try and bring up here. I will look for it. While I'm looking for it,
Because as far as I remember, the Excel Center don't like, they don't like it. They don't like you bringing food and drink into the venue that you've not bought within the venue.
they were actually pretty good with it because a lot of people did bring stuff in. At least
Can
this
I
go
just
round.
say, I love how he referenced bringing food and drink in and not literally lighting something on fire.
Yeah.
That's where I thought he was going with
no,
that,
but-
and then he
no.
didn't.
Because I've been to like lots of conventions where basically, so back in the day, I used to go to when EGX Resd was back in the day. That was back in Tobacco Dock. You wouldn't be able to go to Tobacco Dock into the center with any like external outside food and stuff like that. You have to either get it inside, or what you have to do is you have to make the pilgrimage about 3 minutes away from the venue to go to the McDonald's, which is this poor takeaway McDonald's that would be absolutely swarmed and fighting for its life every day. And you have to have it out there, and then you got to go back buy in, because you don't get the food at Tobacco Dock because it was way too expensive.
So,
Mm-hmm.
Aoife, I
I'm not
can
very happy doing this.
I can confirm that this was the saging technique. And for those, so there was a dice tower remove curse. My understanding is that the source of this dice tower remove curse is Short Trek Hero. So it was given to Aoife, and it has been used on my tower. And my understanding is that mine was the one that didn't roll poorly. So maybe it works.
Dang. What do we know what was inside the box, or was it just the box? Of the
It's
dice
what
that-
she. What do you mean by inside
Because
the box?
If you zoom in, I was like, is it just like a stick Or is it like a box with a little like hole?
No, it's
'Cause
this liquid that
Oh,
she has.
wait,
in her
wait,
hand.
wait. Oh, sorry. I was focused on the box the entire time, thinking she was waving around like the box. I was only like, what's inside it? She's
Yeah.
got liquid. Okay, it's like a.
Yeah.
Is it like?
So
Was
it's
it like a spray on?
spray sage. It smells
Ooh.
great.
Brilliant.
So I have a very lovely odor
Nice smelling, decursed. Nice tower.
in my office right now.
Lovely.
So yeah, that was the saging. We had a very lovely fan meetup organized by Mr. T, where the edible items were exchanged. I think I don't have the photo up right now, but Mr. T quite generously had about 100 tubes, I think.
Incredible.
And it was crazy how many he had.
Yeah.
So he was very generously giving these out at the fan meetup. We had, I think there were 15 people in the group photo.
Plus an extra person that someone summoned, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Mr. Blobby. Yeah.
He who shall not be named.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I forgot when I was supposed to name him.
Um,
I'm immune.
yeah,
I'm
so we had
immune to the
I think
Blobby.
15 people in the group photo, which is very cool. A few people could not make the group photo, which I will get to here in a second. We had a live show. It was very cool. As I said already, it was very busy. I did not take any photos at the live show because I was enjoying the live show. You guys will be able to, if you haven't seen it already, you will be able to see it on Patreon, which is cool. Angeli, fantastic. And the whole crew was great. Really, really enjoyed it. 2 hours is just kind of flew by.
Yeah.
To be honest. And yeah, it was great. There are a few name drops that if you pay close attention to Natural Six and the names, which at this point is definitely my thing since I have to worry about these things on the glossary, but there are some name drops that if you know your lore, you will get a kick out of some of those.
Yeah.
And on Friday after the show, we managed to invade the Saturn Berries booth, which Macaroni, who was in their Radiant cosplay, was attending. Basically, we managed to get. They had some prints and little guys. I've got them right here. I will pick them out.
Oh, Liddy had offered to get them for me. I'm not sure if she actually did, so I'll find out when I get my merch.
So, these are the prints.
Yeah,
Yo! Oh, those ones. Oh, awesome.
so cute.
Yeah. So, what they also have, and I don't know how easy this is going to be able to get out.
Is it this? I think I know what it is because I was told I might get one.
So there is a little stand
Yeah, a little standee.
as well.
So
Oh my gosh, that's
cute.
amazing. Thousands.
So they were available. So the Saturn Berries crew. I don't know how easy that is to see. So we managed to get to the booth afterwards and take some pictures with Macaroni. You can see them on the Discord. So yeah, we had a few of them who were manning the booths at the time who weren't able to go to the fan meetup, which was unfortunate, but we got some prints, which was very cool. Some of the nice fan merch. Then we had pre-dinner drinks at the Novotel next to the convention center, which Shan was present for.
It was
we
very
brought-
difficult though.
we brought Shan in on video live from Philly.
Yeah.
Everyone was very excited to see Shan. So that was cool. There was about 20 or so. Yeah. 20 or so for drinks on the Friday evening. And then we split the party. My partner in crime, Kira, and I had organized dinners for those who wanted on the Friday evening, and I took Team Tapas, and Kira took Team Pizza, and we went our separate ways, had dinner, which was very cool. We hope to be able to do something a little more group oriented next time. But as Harry knows, and Andy as well, around the XL in London is a bit of a desert for places.
Weirdly enough, there are a couple of like good places, but the places which I think of also like aren't very good for like really like big bookings as well.
Yeah. So it was a struggle to do. We had, the issues of trying to potentially collect deposits from people and all sorts of stuff, which Kira and I declined to do this time.
Where did you end up going in the end?
As far as
Food wise, like
Uh,
what?
there is a tapas place close to the MCM called Tapa Tapa.
Yeah, Tapa Tapa
which-
that's a good one.
Which is pretty good, I would say.
Yeah.
Good variety. We had most of the people who had other dietary issues or limited things that they could do with us, which was fine. And then Kira had the pizza crowd, which was a little bit further away and actually could work for a larger group next time, because they were a little bit less busy, at least earlier on in the evening. So a possible venue for us for next time. We'll have to see. I think what we might try and do next time is try and do something a little bit further away, pub or whatever, that would be a little more relaxed for those people who wanted to just kind of come and hang out rather than have a kind of sit down meal. But very fun. Thanks to everybody who came out for all of those fan events, and also the people who organized them, including Mr. T for the fan meetups, of which he organized 2. On Saturday, the part of the crew, so Doug, Harry, and Alex, had their individual meet and greets. There were a few of us who went and did that and ran the gauntlet. There were, once again, very well attended. Had to be there early. I had the pleasure of accompanying Rania through the gauntlet. We managed to do the 3 for 3, so we managed to get Doug, Harry, and Alex. It was touch and go whether we were going to be able to do that, but we managed it. So that was great. And then we were just kind of recharging our batteries before the Smasher Pass, which was very unhinged, but people seemed to like. They had real trouble in the back just with the number of people and people wanting to get in. Harry, I think similar to the issues that we had when we were there in October with the other stage, there were just too many people. And there was a bit of MCM scheduling issues that meant people coming in and out were it was a bit tricky, but the whole thing was great. Really enjoyable. chaos and unhinged as usual. And then, as I mentioned earlier, there was the Natural Six booth, which we got to invade. It was kind of nice to see the crew a little bit kind of out with all the meet and greets and stuff that they had. There was kind of a revolving door of people on the booth there. Aoife and Holly, Alex, and Ben were all there at various different times. I didn't see Harry or Doug there, but I'm sure they were there for parts of the time. But the highlight was Holly's mom at the booth.
Holly's tiny mom.
So Holly's mom was at the booth. We managed a picture with Holly's mom. We made the decision that nobody could be taller than Holly's mom, so we were all either kneeling or lying down for this photo, which was great. So that was fun. And what else did we do on Saturday? We had another dinner for a few of us. We went back to the pizza place, which was cool. We had some rosé, as you do. On brand. And I think that's it. A few of the six-pack crew did some mini painting on Sunday, which was very cool. There was free mini painting, so you could go and paint a mini. So they went and did that on Sunday. I think Mel, Bard, Kira, and Pat all did that, or at least the four of them, which was cool. I think you can see some of the pictures of their minis on Discord if you are so inclined. It's pretty cool. But yeah, all in all, a great weekend. To be honest, I think we're all pretty beat by Sunday afternoon. It's a lot of walking on a concrete floor, which can definitely recommend comfortable shoes, change of socks. Yeah. So that's kind of it. The only sort of prologue is that Carrie did mention to me that she potentially would be interested in running some D&D sessions for beginners, since there are a few people who have never played before. We talked about it very briefly while we were there in person, about how many people actually from the community have never played or never had the opportunity to play for one reason or another, just like Shan was saying earlier, scheduling or whatever. And for that, running one-shots where people can kind of get experience with the combat system or just do some role-playing only is kind of cool. And it means like you're only making a commitment to like one session, right? You're not trying to run a campaign, right? You're just running one session. So that might happen. We shall see. I don't know if Carrie has posted anything yet on the Discord, but watch out for that if she does, which will be quite cool. It'll probably be, since I believe she's in Germany, it'll be likely a European time focus, unfortunately. But Shan, with your crazy schedule, you could probably make that work.
Maybe.
Or depending on the day.
Yeah.
So, and Carrie is a very experienced DM as well, and has run all sorts of different things in multiple languages as well. So, yeah, watch out for that. I think that's it from me.
Very comprehensive overview.
Mhm.
Sounded like a brilliant time.
Yeah, it was great. Maybe just kind of in summary, if you are interested in going, this community is very supportive and helpful, as I think Shan can attest to on the PAX on the US side. So if you are first con goer, you are, concerned about not having anybody to kind of hang out with or to go to places in the con with, the group is very good for supporting you in doing that. And you might even be able to meet Harry if you come in October, assuming that PAX or that Natural Six will be present at EGX/Comic Con
Hell
in
yeah.
October.
I would love to do UK, but that's a hard swing. Plus, I already made a commitment for October again.
You don't have to
So-
come to the UK.
But that's no one's coming here
That's
except for the 6.
The
The
That's
dollar
true.
does not do well in the United Kingdom, so it's a very hard swing for me.
Mhm.
I have to save up for a while.
Well, it almost happened this time, Shan.
Hmm.
I was almost there for PAX. So
Almost.
almost. We never did find out. Did I'm sure that the web symbol got washed out, right?
So I actually kept forgetting to check, and I walked by that plaza like for the last 2 days, and I just kept, because I was in such a trying to get there.
Mhm.
Saturday, I was especially trying to get in because we wanted to line up for Magic,
Mhm.
and we were getting in at 10:45, so the line was going to be opening soon.
Yep.
And then Sunday, I was just Sunday to come in.
Yeah, you're
like,
in
By
a
the
kind
time
of
I
funk by
remembered to
then.
go check, we were getting ready to go home because we got dinner and we were walking back to the hotel to get our car. But I would assume it was gone,
'Cause it
unless
was
you
really
chalked it on.
It
But
was really
yeah,
wet, right?
It
So,
rained all week, well, almost all weekend. Sunday was beautiful, but it rained the rest of the weekend.
So for those that do not know, I chalked a web symbol while I was there in Boston the week before PAX. But sadly, I felt like
Next
any
time.
further graffiti was taking it a bit far.
Next
So.
time.
Cool. I think that's it from me. Otherwise, I think we've talked extensively about Expedition 33 already. Been finished for a bit now. Trying to wrap up my Final Fantasy VII playthrough before the Altars comes out here in 10 days.
This time for sure.
Oh, finishing it.
Yeah, this time you're gonna finish it for sure because you're trying to finish it for the last game release.
If I don't finish it before the Altars, it'll be it'll probably be August before I get a chance to play it again.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, boy.
there's so many.
Hey, you can take your time. Who knows how long it'll be till part 3, man? As long as you're done by the time part 3
there is
drops.
that. There is that.
You have time.
Yeah. Cool. Then I think we maybe give the floor to Andy.
Yeah.
What you been up to, sir?
Well, mostly doing legal stuff to do with selling a flat. But in between, I've been playing old. Because my PC's very old. It doesn't really run new games very well, so I've been going back to some old school classics like Heroes of Might Magic 3 with some mods, stuff like that. So just anything that I can just do bits of and not worry about, having to save progress or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cool.
that's mostly it for me.
Did you have a good time at MCM?
MCM's really good. It's a shame that I didn't get there early enough to get in the meet and greet, and I had other things planned for the rest of the weekend, so I couldn't stay up there. So
Mm-hmm.
I think next con I will plan to do the whole weekend and fully immerse myself in there because
You can get the VIP ticket for October.
Oh God.
That's a bit
I'm
much.
in the MCM chat still, so I see some. Andrew tagged me, and I just am now in there. So occasionally I'll see what you guys are talking about.
Oh man. Reed Pop strikes again. Right, moving swiftly on then. Shan, Harry, which one of you guys wants to go first?
Mine's gonna be a lot like super simple. What's my week been? Harriet Gustav. Dodge.
I like that you've
dodge.
embraced my
And I'm like,
nickname for you.
it's a jump dodge. It's a gradient counter, not a parry. Yeah, no, I'm having a good time with Cloud Scare 3. I finished Act 2. Yeah, it was going pretty good. Yeah, I finished Act 2. I mean, now that I finished Act 2, all we can say, go wait for the spoiler cast. But I made some very funny predictions as I was going and playing it, and never have I been more vindicated in my entire life. The game is freaking absolutely. This game is more Xenoblade than Xenoblade, and I'm happy to say that. It's doing things in the story that I like more than how they did similar parts of the story in the Xenoblade series. Specifically 3. It's a game that goes harder than 3, and I like that. That's my current review. And I hope it continues. And also, I don't know. Am I allowed to say about the optional boss that I fought just because it's so funny? The whole sequence around
I went and found that boss because I looked up how to get that weapon that I kept saying, man, I want that weapon. I realized you had to wait to go fight that boss. That's why I hadn't fought them yet. So I went and I found them. Verso killed them in one hit. And I was like, well, there we go. Thank God I waited.
Now you've got it.
Because I hate that. I hate the regular ones as it is. Because I'm usually okay against them, but parrying sometimes isn't my strong suit. So I was really glad that Ben came in clutch for me on that one.
Ben came in clutch. We'll save it. We'll save it for the spoiler cast.
Yeah, I won't
Harry.
say who it is. Yeah.
Oh, I can't. It's just.
It was funny though.
It
He
was
clearly
the funny
beat it under
moment.
leveled.
Yeah, it's like walking into the end of Act 2. I was like, all right, guys, I'm going to finish Act 2 today, that kind of thing. And then fast forward 2 days and freaking 8 hours later, freaking like grinding my way through that entire sequence, being like, it's been 42 years and I've finally completed Act 2, finally. And that has genuinely ruined my sleep cycle for the rest of this week. But it was fine though, it's good. Anyway, yeah, blah, 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 parry at Gustav. Yeah, it's funny.
Parry at Gustav.
Good game.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. For those of you listening at home, I've been calling Harry the Parry since his stream, and he changed his name on the notes to
I
Harry
didn't
the
change
Parry.
that. I did not write that down.
That?
That was not me.
It
I
wasn't
did not
me?
write that. I thought it was you because that was not
Oh,
me.
it was Doc. I saw his face just now.
I can now
I did
confirm
not do
it was me who changed it.
I believe you.
But you've got 40 hours in the game now, Harry. So
Congrats.
Do I? Let's find out. Oh, thank you.
I'll pull
Thank you for
mine up
telling me.
while we're waiting.
39 hours.
Well, there we are. Yes.
Excellent. Any game dev news that you'd like to share?
Still think it's incredibly funny because someone decompiled Expedition 33 and the advanced locomotion system is indeed within that package. Which means that I did correctly call the exact asset they were using for their character controller. And it's the same one I used for one of my third-year projects, and I love that. So good for you. Oh, no, I got another one. I got another really good one. Really good one for here. Freaking, I'm going to be insufferable this week because IO Interactive, 2 things in game dev stuff. IO Interactive, they just kind of said, yo, by the way, Project 007 is 007 First Light. It exists. It exists, and they're going to be showing off a thing this week, which is really, 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 really epic and awesome. Because
Are
one
they
of my
back
friends is one of the
They
technical
announced
designers
it, like-
working on that game.
Mhm.
And I'm like, one, I'm very excited for him. Two, I'm very jealous of him. And three, I'm just sitting there being like, give me that, because give me that trailer. It's gonna happen on the 6th. They've got like a whole showcase thing
Mhm.
because they're showing off with Build a Rocket Boy, who are a developer here in Scotland, in Edinburgh, who are releasing Mind's Eye, which it looks like an interesting game, and that's going to be cool. And they're also showing off something to do with Hitman World of Assassination, and I've got too many hours in Hitman World of Assassination, and I like it, so it's probably going to be an elusive target. I hope it's an elusive target and not we're shutting down the servers, because that would suck, and I don't think they would do that in their showcase
Fingers
trailer.
crossed, man. Because isn't 007 First Light going to be a Switch exclusive?
No, I don't know. I've not seen anything about that.
Let me see.
I mean, all of their games, they've always released them. They've always released them on Steam. Maybe what you're thinking about is Hitman World of Assassination is getting like a native port on Switch, because fun fact, the Hitman trilogy is on the Nintendo Switch, but weirdly it uses Google Stadia's like streaming platform to make it work. Even though Google Stadia doesn't exist anymore, the streaming infrastructure that it uses is Google Stadia. And it runs at like 4 frames per second. It runs for 4 frames per second because like the Nintendo
Crazy.
Switch has like inbuilt Wi-Fi, and that's like it.
That's
but yeah, for the
absolutely
Switch
crazy.
2, they've got like a native edition that's coming out on it, which will be fun.
Yeah, so it's going to be a Switch 2 exclusive.
Who has
Damn.
said that?
007 First Light. It was announced during the April 2025 Nintendo Direct.
I hate this.
Are you sure about that? Sorry, that
I
was.
mean, I'm reading it from the Wikipedia page, whatever that means.
I'm going to look that up because, like, I mean, they've always released it on PC at the very least.
Yeah, so
And,
I
like-
mean, as usual, that doesn't mean that it's going to be exclusive forever, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. I'll quickly look up at that kind of stuff. I'll quickly look it up. Yeah, release. Right. I will look at it. I will look at it. We will arrive back at this in the mop up section, and I will fact
Alright.
check this claim.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Awesome.
That's all I've got to say.
Excellent.
How about you, Shan? What have you been doing?
Well, I think the whole server knows what I've been doing. So I finished Clair Obscure Expedition 33 on stream the other day. I literally spent like all day on Discord between the merch live stream, playing through the ending, playing some more, and watching Harry play. I think I was on Discord all dang day. But people watched me cry a lot of tears. I recorded it as well so that I could like see how that went for me later. And also because Doc couldn't come and I thought he might find that fun. And I have some screenshots, and let me tell you, I was clearly going through it. There's one that's just me with my glasses pushed up and my fingers on my eyes because I just couldn't watch it. My other favorite was when Ben's credits showed up in the credits. I just looked directly into the camera. Like, I wasn't crying at that point. I was like recovering by the, like I was talking, but like I was clearly distraught. And just looked, and I was like, oh, there he is, and looked directly into the camera. The cause of all my suffering. Games peak. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I still have some side content to do, and I have stuff that I missed that I have to go back and do, particularly the Lumiere mime. I didn't want to waste any time on him because I could only play 2 hours that first night, so I I gave up and was like, let me finish the prologue. Games Peak, I don't know. I haven't had a game made me feel this much in quite some time. Like, I could argue Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers definitely has in some aspects, but when I'm talking about like a whole closed circuit game, it's been a long time since a game has made me feel this way. And I don't know, man. Game of the year. I know it's got stiff competition, but there's something about this. This is special. Sandfall, I'm hopeful and concerned because, like, obviously some people are going to be jerks if the next game isn't quite as good as Expedition 33. And obviously a lot of people have been accusing us of glazing, but you never really know why something connects with someone. Like, after Final Fantasy 16 came out, that was also a nightmare to navigate. You weren't allowed to like it and you weren't allowed to not like it, so what do you do? So I'm glad that it's connecting with so many people because, like, it really was a game that came out at the absolute right time for me, or wrong time, depending on how you view my reaction to the endings. But it's great. It's great. Every performance in it is great. I really do think Harry should just fight Jennifer English if he ever gets the chance to meet her. I think that would be really funny. For all the times she yelled parry at Gustav and it wasn't a parry. I know I have cameo openings. I'm trying to, I now that I finished the game and I don't know when I'm going to see Ben again. I said when I finished it, I was going to get a cameo request, but I have no idea what to do. So it is open. I will say he does owe me emotional compensation.
It's what you need to do, all right? You need to, like,
oh God.
when you're next fighting Ben, you're gonna need, like, challenge and, like, fight him, but then you're gonna need to do, like, the weirdest, like, wind-up animation in the world that takes, like, 30 seconds to resolve. Yeah, while I'm just there in the background shouting,
like,
parry it, Gustav, or don't die. I forgot, that's another one she says. That's another one she says as well. Don't die. Thanks, Mael. Good advice.
My personal favorite is, there's a couple. I love Ben's "Here we go." That one makes me laugh every time because that's exactly how I feel every time something's attacking me. But I also like Lune because I usually my party right now is Lune, Mael, and Verso, so I hear a lot of their back and forth. Lune is like, "Careful, Verso," like she almost wants him to die. Is probably hands down my favorite one. Like she just wants to see him die, and you know what? Fair enough.
Also what needs to happen in the background while that fight's happening is Doc will need to be saying, Shan, you need to pay attention to this bit. You need to pay attention to this bit.
It's so funny that he was saying that.
While I was playing through this, because I couldn't hear a single thing of what everyone else was saying, because, like, you know, like, one of the things at the end of Act 2, someone was yapping a whole lot. Doc was saying, Shan, pay attention to this bit, and I'm sitting there being like, I'm trying to parry it.
Here's the thing, and he said all that, and I did notice that. It was so funny because I'm sitting there like, I did notice that, but I couldn't say it because Harry was so stressed out by that point. I was afraid to say anything, so I just nodded. And I was like, it was so funny.
And he was fucking orbital strikes.
I did. I noticed that because I knew there was something going on when I played it myself, so I was trying to clue in, and obviously all the pieces kind of clicked. I noticed a lot of things. But yeah, so great game. Game of the year for me. I'm still playing it. I still want to keep playing it. It's probably going to be like my background. Like, I just want to play a game at this point. So I can get better at it. But yeah, and then the last thing I guess I could say about Expedition 33 is the score is... It's going to be so hard to top this score, I think. First of all, it's massive. Second of all, it's got so much going on in it. Monoko is such a banger. I could listen to Monoko alone all day. Monoko's theme is the greatest thing in the whole game. But there's also, everyone has said, and I agree, if we don't get a 15-minute performance of Une Vie à ta Mère, I will lose my mind at Jeff Keighley. At that point, we will have real personal beef because I need to hear that song live. Absolutely greatest needle drop in the entire game is Une Vie à ta Mère. and it's such. I found another reaction video to it today, and I was like, every time someone experiences, like, we waited for Harry. Like, I told everyone to shut up so Harry could hear the needle drop. And I was very glad because I love it, but he also didn't get to attack first, like most people. So he kind of got screwed in that aspect, which is very funny. But yeah, great game. Great score. I'm going to fight Ben Starr, my best friend and my worst enemy. And I have to get a cameo together. The other thing was food related. I tried La Colombe s'mores latte, banger. I got, for those of you who have followed the Tony Chocolonely like thing that keeps randomly coming up in Natural Six, I got a sampler. They sell these now. It's delicious. I'm eating the milk chocolate in the background to keep myself alive. It's good stuff. It's delicious. It was $10 and it's worth every penny because now I get to try chocolate. And last but not least, I'm finally going to go back to playing Shadowbringers because why not recover from one emotionally devastating game and go back to another? I am in Yulemoor, Inclusia, and we're about to go up a big ladder. Yay!
Excellent.
Yeah, so that's all I got, I think.
Oh,
So you weren't.
Yeah.
You didn't feel like you were cheating on Final Fantasy 14?
I did a little bit. I was peeking in to do like my betting and go to art parties and stuff, but like the thing is that it's been a long time since I've gotten to play a game at launch, and it was a short game. And mind you, I have 93 hours, so like short.
game.
But I really enjoyed it, and I just couldn't put it down, especially as I was like leading up to Act 2, the end of Act 2 specifically, like because everything was kind of coming together, and I was seeing everyone else's reactions to Act 2. And I had PAX, so I was like, obviously I have to finish Act 2. I have to get to a bookend before I go to PAX, so that Ben Starr doesn't spoil me. And yeah, so I marathoned it, and I couldn't help it. It's so good. So I did kind of feel like I was cheating on it a little bit, and I'm excited to go back to 14 and finish Shadowbringers, but there was something about Expedition 33, I couldn't stop going back, whether it's the performances, the music, the world. I think the world is so cool. I like the combat, even if I'm not very good at it. I like trying to synergize and figure out how I can be good at it.
Yep.
And I especially like, I've said this to Doc before, you only get to play a game for the first time once. And I wanted to experience as much of it as I could before I finished it. But at the same time, I was like, I do want to finish it before I see the ending on Twitter or something. And so that's why I did what I did. Because I was like, I have a Friday afternoon off and I'll finish it. And yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful game. A lot of beautiful stuff in there. I cried a lot. A lot.
It's a good game.
It's a great game.
I can concur. Harry and Annie, how do we feel about Tony's Chocolonely?
Never tried it.
Like the yes, I know of them. They're two like I've not physically I know they exist, and I've gotten close to buying them. Haven't quite gotten it yet because at Tesco's they've not been part of like, you know, some of the like Tesco club card deals like I should do. And also like they're a bit too on the outside wrapping wise, they look a bit too thick for me. Because
they are
like
very thick.
because the problem is if it's too thick, it's like, you know, because I put it in the fridge, like it becomes a bit of a task where it's like, okay, I've got to get like a bread knife to like hacksaw the chocolate out of like the hole, and I've got to like try and do that, and then it creates so much more mess than say like a Galaxy bar. So, but if that doesn't have that problem, and I've been overcomplicating it all these times, I will change that.
All right. You have no opinion on this chocolate, Eddie?
I'm not a massive chocolate lover, to be honest.
Just me then.
All right.
What is
Smart
your
baby.
opinion on Tony's chocolate?
My opinion.
Yeah, and
I am
anyone's opinion.
I am allergic to chocolate, so
Oh, no.
I do not have an opinion on Tony's Chocolonely, but my daughter loves them. So
Oh, wait, we are actually legit getting like a taste test. That's
Oh.
awesome.
which one,
That-
Shan? There are
I was finishing the milk chocolate.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. How is it? Is it good?
I really like their chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
And I like this because I could try more of it without having to buy a whole bar.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
There is also, if you, I don't know about the U.S., but they make this like thing where the bars are only about this big, and there's more of a kind
Oh,
of
look.
sampler. Cool. With the Redux and other scheduling issues, we do not have an art showcase today, but we will have the next episode, hopefully.
Yeah.
I can try and draw again. I forgot again.
There is the possibility of a very special guest, art-wise, which Harry and Shan know about. So
This
hopefully,
time I do know. Yes.
hopefully I will be able to announce that, and maybe we will be able to get some questions from the community to ask them. But watch the space for that. I believe, unless Andy wants to tell us anything else about his life and times,
Nope.
that we can move on. And it's that time.
Time.
It is that time.
It's a big, natty 6 epi.
The spoilers.
Get out of here if you haven't seen episodes 30. Action Surge 30.
The spoilers are up.
Big 30. 30
Spoilers.
times we've done this. Impressive. 30 times they've done this.
30
Yes.
times they've done this.
30 times we've experienced this.
Yes.
11 times we've done this.
It's about 20 some episodes of Watch Party for me. Did you guys watch Party on episode 1?
I
I
was,
did.
yes. I was the originator of the watch party. So since episode 1, it's been here whole
We were the
time.
first two on camera, other than Holly and Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes.
So, Harry, the OG Watch Party.
Me accidentally, like, with Windows constantly like pinging all the screenshots I was taking of like funny face
of
expressions.
everybody. Cool. Let's do a quick rundown of the predictions from
Yes.
last episode.
Roll through them.
Our last episode, but
Mhm.
episode.
Mm. The predictions
Go for it,
that
Harry.
were there. So the predictions, Doc. Your prediction last time was that Vigil was absolutely going to be seen and talked to in this episode, and that 2 cards would be drawn. I feel you got so close. Like, it was so it was bold. It was very bold. So bold. The first one, absolutely correct. Second one, it was so close because Raiden did almost draw one. There was almost a draw.
Mhm.
Didn't go for it though. But even within there, 2 cards. Sadly, it is a no. Not today, unfortunately.
Sadly.
For my one, holy fudge, it did not go down too well for me this time. I was predicted the episode title had 2 words, and this time the title had like 50 quadrillion words in it.
It had 6, right?
Yeah.
Is
yes.
that the most? Let's check on the lovely fandom.
Yeah, you go and check the word count on the fandom. My other prediction was that the episode description's first line was going to be a threat, and the first line of this one was very simply, they tried stealth, which, like,
Could be a threat.
spiritually you could argue that's a
But-
threat. However, like, I'm not even willing to get down into that levels of grease.
No.
That's
I'm
just like
giving
every
this one up.
D&D party ever. They always try stealth, and then it fails.
Mhm.
Exactly. Like, they tried stealth. I'm giving up on this one. I'm giving the high horse up on this one. Now, Shan, your predictions were that Radiant intends to tell somebody about the Erastus Gracie incident.
Which we still don't know because he was too busy being bodyguard number 1
Well,
and then
yes, but the important,
dying.
yes,
and then
So-
trying to die. Yeah.
I'm willing to say that that was a thing that didn't happen.
Well, thank you. Yeah, obviously didn't
Alright.
happen because he didn't tell anybody because he was too busy get
He didn't
busy living
intend
or
to
get
tell
busy
someone.
dying.
There was nothing there that indicated to me that he had any intention of telling anyone about being like, pause, hold on, guys. Before
Get
we go
busy
any
living.
further, I got something to tell you. Even like an indication, but it happens to everyone. And also that we will not see Vigil this episode. Unfortunately, that did not.
I took a
Double,
swing.
double
Almost
negative
everyone
on that
did.
one, unfortunately.
I
took
am
a
Dolly.
swing.
Saw
I'm
Vigil.
not gonna try and grease up my thing because I took a swing and
Too
it
much.
didn't land.
Oh,
I
it's
struck out. It's fine.
Okay, and then finally for Jazzy's one, there would be an opportunity for Dolly to kill Vigil to show she has control over her own destiny. She will not kill Vigil and move on from him, showing ultimate power. Work in progress. That one, work in progress. But I think after today's episode, all of us, I think we've kind of all decided that we don't want this one to be true. Like, you know, it's the meme of, you know, Steven, we're gonna have to kill this guy.
As a woman,
Um,
I would like him to die.
Yeah, like I think I think it's gonna be it's like it's interesting if I follow like the chat and that kind of thing to see like how quickly we all sort of go been like yeah Steven, we're gonna have to kill Dolly, we're gonna have to kill this. I think we're gonna have to kill this guy.
We're gonna have to kill this guy.
But
Yep.
but you know, we will obviously actually talk about that. But yeah, honestly, big old goose egg from all of us this episode.
Yeah,
Goose
I
egg
agree.
episode. I mean, apart from Doc, technically, you win by default of getting one thing correct, which was that Vigil was seen and talked to.
Great.
A
Fantastic.
hollow victory.
It's a hollow victory. Yeah. I think if a couple things hadn't have gone the way that they went, just kind of the way things were at the table, Ben absolutely would have drawn some cards. I know he felt afterwards like, oh shoot, I probably shouldn't have.
For a couple of reasons.
For at
Yeah.
least a couple reasons.
10-hour podcast
But,
incoming dissecting
yeah, I mean,
this.
No,
maybe
I just laughing at Ben.
maybe we can just kind of get right into our usual stuff then.
Yeah.
There was no dress really for us to admire. There was also no bowling shirt, but there was the merchandise on display, which was cool. And yeah, maybe we could just kick things off with the sort of like where we ended last time, which is like, and I will say, I did say to Ben when we were at MCM that we're not sure whether he's evil or not, and he just gave me the most
He's so annoying. He is so much. Just like when I
ridiculous.
said I loved
What
Verso,
face?
and he gave me a, oh really? I hate him so much.
He gave me the most ridiculous, and because Aoife was standing beside him, and I probably spent the most time with Aoife in the meet and greet, and she just kind of looked at him, looked at me, and just gave gave me the kind of like, because we're not sure whether either of them are evil at this point, but I mean the compensation from our good friend Ben Starr coming right out of the gate to start the episode off
It
was
was so funny.
oh man, he was
Make
trying
way for your
so
queen.
hard. Yeah.
You're like, Dolly, I would never betray you. I'm with you all the way. I'm with you all
I
the
don't-
way.
I find this just very hard to read in black and white because you
I
don't
agree.
promise you're gonna be there for somebody if you don't intend to be there for somebody.
I totally agree. Still think it's wild. Still
It
think
is wild.
Still think it's
It
wild
is
he didn't
funny as
mention it
hell.
this episode. But
And
yes.
that's why I thought Action Surge was funny as hell. This is the exact same reason.
it was exactly the same.
It's not hee hee ha ha funny. It's
It is not hee ha ha funny, and I mean it's obviously going to come to a head at some point here. But boy,
This episode really wasn't hee hee ha ha funny. It was
No.
a lot.
it was a lot. Andy, have you got anything else anything you want to add on the sort of like first, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes of them parading our savior, Dolly de Winter, through the streets of Haven?
No, only other than that Harry's descriptions, as usual, are just absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And the music was on point.
Yep. I felt like you could lie down with your headphones on, just listening to that, and get a complete picture of everything.
Absolutely. Yeah.
For sure. Then we had some kind of interesting vibes. We still don't really know to what extent the cult and the Gloam are or are not working with each other. How did we feel about the interactions with the Gloam leader and Celandine? Do we know what the name of the Gloam leader is?
No,
I don't
it
think so.
deliberately didn't tell because of the...
An anonymity thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So annoying.
I have a few theories about the whole cult thing, but...
Go on.
Get to that. Okay.
Go on. Now's the time.
Well...
Bold theories only allowed.
I have a feeling that the mushroom is a semi-intelligent entity and is corrupting a group of people via Nox/Vigil.
Ooh, I like that. I mean, I don't like it, but like, you know,
No,
I like where your head's at.
Yeah, it's a... I don't know if you're familiar with the Aboleth monster in D&D. That's more a water-based thing, but that is a similar thing where it can create a mass effect on this scale to influence a large group of people or things. There could be a similar effect in terms of the mushrooms, because you can have mushroom networks and things.
That is an Aboleth, everyone.
Yeah. But
Good for them.
That's probably not what it is, but it could be, you know, a reskinned kind of thing that Harry's going with.
Yep.
Because I think the majority of the people that have been influenced by the Somnium are basically not quite mindless, but almost to that extent.
Am I right in remembering that Harry has used the Aboleth before? Didn't he use it when they were on the boat in the lake?
Yeah, but it was not a full grown
Not a
one,
full
I
one.
think.
Not a full one, no.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's at least used this type of creature
Concept, yeah.
conceptually before. Yeah. So it's obviously going to be interesting. We've got kind of everything opening up here for all sorts of shenanigans. Anything else, guys, before we move on to moving up the steps?
So I did make a couple of jokes about the radiant bits. Like how he did one of the smartest things he's ever done, which was create a crowd to protect themselves, because you're more likely to be safe if you can't get taken because everyone's paying attention to you. So I thought that was really funny. Sorry, the cat keeps trying to stand on my notebook. I also put, this one made me laugh, when everyone's like, oh, you're going to love Vigil, and Radiant just goes, I've heard great things. And I thought that was very funny because he literally asked Dolly if she would like him to kill him. So he's just like, I've heard great things about this guy. Really great. But yeah, I thought it was really interesting that the Gloam and the children don't seem to like each other quite much. But they like, I don't know, I guess they need each other in a weird, well, I'm guessing the Gloam need the children more than the children need the Gloam, is the vibe I'm getting. Because the children just care about Vigil ascending to godhood and whatever that means for Dolly. But yeah, like definitely vibes of like they're just kind of tolerating each other, but more so like the Gloam actually need them more than the other way around.
Does fit with Andy's theory about there being another entity that is manipulating the situation.
Yeah.
I think the Gloam really only need the children in order to find whatever it is they're seeking in those caves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the Somnium.
Once that's happened, I think they'll just either kill him off or depart and never see him again.
Yeah. I also like the moment where Harry had the follower mention if the seasons had changed.
Yes.
Outside the forest. That was a really cool bit of lore there. Like, I liked how the whole chat thought that how cool that was. But that was like a really cool moment of him like asking, or them asking, because I forget what gender we were working with there. But like if the seasons had changed yet, that was very cool.
I'm gonna say, when did all the stuff with Celandine like happen? Was that before steps, after steps?
It was kind of a mix. There was some interaction before because she came down with all the commotion.
Yeah.
And then she was like, I'm going to go talk to Vigil. So then more stuff happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
While she was letting him know that Dolly was there with her party.
Yeah. Just because, like, oh gosh, because I don't want to jump around like too much, but I mostly wanted to kind of like pin when like, okay, we're getting introduced to like Celandine and that kind of thing. I was like, Celandine, that's another flower.
Yeah.
Or like Dahlia, I'm thinking like, oh, that kind of thing. And again, one thing I want to point out is like I like Harry's commitment with like the subtle Irish like accent, those kind of like continuity. The kind of like
after making fun of her for her accent for so long, and now trying to do it himself.
Yeah, that kind of like continuity. I thought it was like a continuity moment because like, is Celandine a tiefling as well? I think.
No,
so.
she's just
not.
No,
just
I don't think she's an actual tiefling. She's just got the mask on.
No, she's just the cosplayer.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing that I just was just the thing that wilded me out that I was not expecting. The Dolly cosplay in world. We got actual Dolly cosplay in world.
We did get Dolly cosplay.
I also,
yes, we did.
I almost forgot the really fun detail of before Dolly and I went in, Radian slipped her the poison mushroom he took. Because you never know when a girl's gonna need a poison mushroom.
It's like it's cinema.
It is cinema. Like that was a very fun. Like he was out here just like, oh, stay away from her. Like she's, we're here to protect her, and like telling her he's got her back. But when they have to separate, he gives her a tool of protection, which is a way to kill Vigil. And I was like, that's very smart thinking for Radiant. He's doing okay so far. It didn't last. It didn't last, but he was doing okay for a minute.
It was going okay until it wasn't. The other thing I was going to say was like Vigil.
Until he got triggered.
Vigil, like when they were describing like Vigil and that kind of stuff, is like one thing that stood out was like, oh, Vigil, he speaks with like 1,000 voices, and I was thinking like, really? Wow. I literally just wrote in the notes, guy's haunted and or a reborn.
Or he's possessed by a giant mushroom.
Or possessed by giant mushroom, which like, loud incorrect buzzer on that one, gang. Loud incorrect buzzer on that one, gang.
He doesn't like it. He doesn't like the giant mushroom idea.
No, not that. Just being like, oh yeah, no, he doesn't have 1,000 voices. He's just like really bad.
He's just very schizophrenic.
Mansplain, manipulate male wife. Just minus the male wife part. He thinks he's a male wife. He is not.
Yeah.
He's mansplain and manipulate.
What did we think about the interaction of Alex rolling well, getting to go up? How do we feel about the two of them being the ones who went up there?
I liked it, to be
honest. It was good. That was the best choice. I
Yeah.
think because,
Yeah.
I mean, Ben kind of made it clear that if he had gone up there, he probably wouldn't have messed with it because he was being very conscious of not taking over the story, which is like, good job. But I think the best character to go up was I, because he is the most not trusting, but you know what I mean. Like, he's the most like open-minded to a lot of this stuff, whereas like a lot of the characters are like constantly suspicious of everything going on around them.
True.
But I is just a little guy. He's experiencing the world for the first time, and so he's quite innocent within that world. He's a little bit naive, but like, you know, he's new to the world. So him being the one to experience the turn is probably the better character choice, because you already have characters that can probably tell what's going to happen in there, but I would not necessarily go right to that. So having him be the one that goes in with her, he's not only like a comforting presence because he's a little guy, but he's also like, he's just the least likely to immediately cause a problem. Also, I mean, he says some great stuff though, to be fair.
I can't believe that does have to be one of the criteria. Least likely to cause chaos.
least, because like, I mean, again, Radiant straight up said, "I'll kill this guy if you want." I would not bring him into the meeting with the guy. Like, bad idea. And obviously, Holly said LOM probably wouldn't have gone either, and Kel's doing whatever Kel's doing right now. So, but I did really like that she brought IM, because we got the absolute banger. They will wonder how something so empty could be so heavy. What a banger. And I literally was like, oh my God, a metaphor. He's doing it. Like,
yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I think
so good.
Yeah. Also on that, like, I think I would have been like, I think that scene also would have been a lot more, because obviously that entire whole like scene and everything like that was very quite like raw and visceral and like uncomfortable in brackets in a good, like, uncomfortable in brackets, like, you know, in the way that I like in what's
It's
the right
supposed to be
what's the right
uncomfortable.
the right word that doesn't make me sound wild? Yeah, like, you know,
It's believable.
Yeah.
Meaningful.
Yeah, meaningful. But like, it would have felt really quite, I think it would have felt even like more uncomfortable as a viewer if Dolly was in there like fully alone. So like, I also think it's also important because like, I think it was really cool and really good having I up there as well, specifically so you can have that, you know, thing of you get like a third party perspective, actively seeing the stuff that sort of goes down and being like, oh no, this guy sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy's bad. Yeah, which, like,
I think so. For me, I actually watched this back. I listened back to it, and then I watched this back on the weekend. That whole interaction. And the one thing, there are two things that I'll point out. One, which goes to the point you guys are making about I being present, right? Or really Alex being present as well, is it does give Aoife space to breathe and have an opportunity to think. And I'll just say, and we had early action surges talking about this, about what it's like to be at a table with a bunch of professional actors, right? And none of us have that experience, or maybe, Andy, maybe you have that experience. I've never been at a table with a professional actor, right? And to be at a table as well, and Harry did say this, he loves this type of character. And he's played this type of character before, and he just, you know, he just laid it on, right?
Yeah.
And Aoife just absolutely killed it, right? Like, to be there in that environment on camera, essentially ad-libbing this, and she did say, you know, she had other she's had issues in her private life that she was able to draw from here. And there was a comment Doug made in this last interview where he said, you know, like, a character is flowing through you. You are always going to put something of yourself into the character, and that is a little bit bidirectional. So sometimes you have the character also flowing back through you and your personal life. But if you watch Aoife when that's the whole thing starts, she is literally shaking.
Yeah.
Right? And she delivers everything in that to a point. Like, that's some of the best acting we've had at the table. I mean, the two of them, obviously it's not just her by herself, but that's some of the best we've had in that type of situation. I think we would probably also say some of the stuff that Ben and Harry did with Vim in Baroon, etc., is, you know, at a very, very high level, right? But that was all kind of silly in a way, right? Whereas this is really meaningful, to the point where we had people in the watch party chat go, "This is too real for me."
Yeah.
Right? I can't continue on here. And I think Aoife actually came in at one point and was saying, "Hey, you know, I understand."
Yeah.
So for her to have that is, you know, I think it was pretty special for us to be able to obviously witness that. Obviously the things from a character point of view are pretty massive, but hey, full props to her on being in that environment and doing such a great job.
Yeah, I think also, like, as part of that and as part of this overall discussion as well, I think it's another reason why I liked having someone else there, because when it comes to, you know, the little like private moments and a lot of like private things, as much as like a lot of the cast are there being like, you know, like are happy with doing stuff in private and that kind of thing, I felt like a lot of that deserved to be appreciated by someone else there, like in the moment, not just between the DM and like them. Because like in a game like this, or like in normal D&D games, I'm always thinking like your audience is always like, your audience also includes the people who are around you as well. So I'm trying to do the most interesting thing or do the best thing to kind of have everyone else at the table have a good time. And I'm in like, you know, a campaign that does do little bits where we do go off in private and have like private moments sort of and that kind of thing. But overall, I think it's something that I do want to sort of like drill into a tiny bit like later on, in terms of like the frequency and like, you know, doing the whole, you know, split party, split table stuff like that. And on that kind of side of it, I'm happy. I really like that other people get to see like the private scenes at the table and not just be an audience thing, because I just think it kind of like flows a lot nicer. And I appreciate and I understand like for metagaming reasons why they don't do a lot of the stuff in person. They don't watch stuff that they don't know, basically. But I kind of feel, especially in like the next few whatever's going to be happening, because it's going to be a very big split table again. I guess I'm a bit like conscious of how that kind of thing affects the flow, because I mean, we already know last time it quite affected the flow of say like Holly and Doug quite a lot, because like again, they weren't at the table basically quite a lot. And I don't know, I think there's something always to be considered in terms of being willing to be a little bit like loose with it. So again, potentially being like, oh, you know, being willing to say cut back to like Dolly and doing that kind of bit. And if they're comfortable doing that kind of at the table, being able to do so, not just, but you know, as long as it's like, yeah, it's fine, might not necessarily be a secret to the players. I don't know. That's kind of like my view on that, but I just like that other people got to be part of the scene.
I agree, Harry. I think it affected Ben, and we'll probably get to that here in a second, right? You know, there was a bit of itchy trigger finger, right?
Very much.
And you know, so probably before we do cut to the Haven jail, anything else we want to delve into here with that whole section?
The only other thing I was going to say was just that I wondered if at the very beginning of the episode, if Aoife was thinking about potentially what the conversation was going to be had, and that's why she was in hyper silly mode at the very beginning. She was kind of overcompensating a bit, maybe. I don't know. With the chicken in pants video.
Oh, with the
Forgot
chicken
about
in
it.
pants.
I've
yes.
already forgotten about
Oh, we didn't
that.
even
Can't
talk about the
believe-
chicken in pants. Yeah.
I thought about bringing it up, but we were pretty deep earlier, so I didn't bring it up.
Yeah.
I think there is the very real possibility of that. It's obviously a big moment for her and her character. I don't know that she knew going into that situation. I don't know how how significant she thought it would be. Like, I think she thought it would be significant, but I don't know how much she was reading into it, right? And there was less time. I think the other part of it is that there was less time to stew. It wasn't like a Saturday, Sunday thing where they had set the stage. So, maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. I don't know, of having like 3 weeks to stew on it rather than, 24 hours to stew on it. Holly's already commented a few times on the cantrips that when it's the Saturday, Sunday, she sometimes can't even sleep because she's thinking so much about what was going on the Saturday. So I don't know. Maybe you can AMA. You can ask her. How much going into that? How much was she inside her own head? I don't know.
I was gonna say other general thoughts and that kind of thing on the whole thing. To drill in a tiny bit more on the Nox vigil. Unfortunately, I'm sorry that we have to think about him at the moment. But I've just written down here of like, wow, longest prolonged crash out of a character from introduction I've seen in a while. It's like going in, I was like, okay, what's this Nox guy's like vigil guy's like deal? And just throughout the conversation, it starts at a point and it just a full linear into a freaking exponential decline. Just the more the route was going to be like, oh, this is not looking good, buddy. Oh boy.
Yeah.
And even within that, just there's just like a whole lot of weird stuff about it. Still, I don't think we've exactly kind of moved apart about how weird it is that he just has a disciple who is a Dolly cosplayer. What is up with that?
It is weird that nobody's mentioned it on the show.
Yeah. Literally
It
called
is
Celandine, which is another type of flower.
Yeah.
What the hell, bro? That is not good. There's a couple other things like one other reason why I did like Alex in the scene as well is because friggin' his like facial expression, method acting at the table, which I do love a good bit of the method acting at the table. I love having my camera on. You could just like when the moment he was saying about like, yeah, no, I had to like take these guys' glomes like the caves or whatever, dude. Like Alex's face was basically like the Chris Pratt like crash zoom in, being like, you what? It was pretty much like that, and it was. I loved it just for that little extra bit of that as well.
There was a bit of interplay with that in the action surge about, and Harry did kind of make a point of saying that it wasn't it isn't known that it's the old
caves.
dark, right?
Yeah.
And it isn't but it could be, right?
It's probably. If there's caves that are close enough to it, you can probably assume it probably might be. Make assumptions until it's deconfirmed. I was gonna say, and like, there was also like the thing of the callback which, as you find out in Action Surge, was like completely accidental when Dolly was talking about what her like character's greatest fear was. That callback going in, that like accidentally being the like most interesting full circle because she was 100% right. Being, you know, Dolly's fear about basically something happening and her ending up basically taking over Baroon and being like, you know, bloodthirsty war leader effectively. And that being Vigil and Nox's like idea effectively, being like, yo, do you want to be the Queen of Baroon? And Dolly's like, oh no, no.
Yeah.
That option was on the table. Yep.
That was like, that was very awesome. I mean, that, again, clarify, I hate him. I do hate him. That was awesome on a narrative thing.
Yeah.
That was an awesome gun for Harry to fire directly in Aoife's direction.
Yeah.
A good gun to fire straight at the audience.
Definitely.
Harry hit a lot of shots.
Mhm.
And also
Yeah.
he just kind of also casually mentioned that, by the way, I may or may not have been pivotal in the whole load falling, which is,
I mean,
like,
he took credit for it. Whether
he took credit for it.
I think there's
That would be actually really funny if he just
There's-
wasn't really involved in it and he just believes that he was.
yeah.
I think it's more of that, to be honest.
Oh no.
Yeah. I had a lot
The
of
globe
thoughts.
being like, this guy thinks he's on the team.
Yeah. Blood thinks he's on the team.
Bro thinks he's on the team.
I love that meme.
Shan.
Yeah, I had a lot of thoughts. I mean, I know that smile from Harry. I know it very well because that's the first thing I ever saw Harry in was The Last Kingdom, where he made that smile quite a lot. In fact, I sent the GIF in the watch party chat, and nobody liked that because you shouldn't. His character is a rat. But yeah, it was very chilling. Especially because, like, I don't know, when you're a woman, that is absolutely a situation you can find yourself in at any time, which is why a lot of us are just like, wow, dating sucks. It's not like because the dating pool sucks. It's because you could literally find the best person ever or literally this guy. And you never know what you're going to get because you're not going to find out till later. It's a fun surprise for later. Because I don't know why we're seen as such wonderful things to manipulate and lock away. But yeah, so like me personally, I'm hearing him say all this stuff and I didn't believe him for a second because, like, especially once he did that turn, it was over.
Yep.
Because that's essentially
Yep.
like,
Oh, I don't think Dolly believed him for a second either.
I don't think she did either. But like, you worry about the audience sometimes because they don't always know, you know, and like, you know, and then yeah, the insight checks and stuff where like Harry was saying, like, to you, it sounds like he's being honest. It's like that's the most terrifying thing you could have a DM say in that situation, because how many women are treated like they're crazy for pointing out the stuff that, you know, the person they're dating is doing. It's like, no, you're just imagining it, or he doesn't mean it that way, or like that. It's a terrifying thing to sit through and to see so many other people get uncomfortable with. I'm lucky enough that I've not, lucky or unlucky enough, depending on how you look at it, I've never been in that situation. But it's one of those things we're trained to look for, and that's a horrible thing that you have to do. They have to look out for that kind of thing. And that's like an implicit fear and not just a possibility of like, oh, that could happen. It's one of the worst things that could happen, especially because oftentimes those situations lead down very dark paths, and many women have not been able to get out of them. And so it is definitely was an uncomfortable thing to sit through, and especially like at the end when, you know, she's like talking to him after he orders everybody to get arrested and he's done the turn, all that, and he tells her like the moon merely reflects, and I was like, oh no, oh, he's that guy. Like, to have Dolly, who has been such a powerful character within her party, to be the leader of the group, to do some crazy stuff, like combat wise, not the stuff we discussed last time, but like to be this character, and then to have somebody say to her, you're not that. You reflect that. You are meant to reflect my greatness. I was ready to fight. We're gonna have to kill this. I think that's what I said to Harry.
Yeah,
Can you
that's when
Photoshop
I
me
started editing the memes.
into the? Yeah, I was like, can you Photoshop me into the meme real quick? I felt very radiant at that point. I was like, do you want me to kill him? I'll kill him.
Yeah, by the end of
Like-
the episode, by the end, Shan, do you have the background?
I do, but I don't think I'm allowed to put it on right now.
Oh, okay.
I do have it though. It is ready. I can show it when we're done.
Yeah,
we
I do
need
have it.
like Six Pack Podcast After Dark.
After
right?
Dark,
Where
yeah.
we have the 18 plus very sweary version.
Yeah, so I swear a lot.
I agree, Shan. I mean, I think
Oh, and the fact that he tells her like her behaviors will keep her friends alive. Like, he's a. I want to say it so bad, but I won't.
he's a piece of garbage.
Trash.
He is trash.
He's a complete plonker.
I think there's so many of us who've either, and men can be manipulated in a very
sure.
similar way,
Yeah.
right? It usually manifests in a different way, right?
Yeah.
But to also be, and personally, to be someone who has watched someone you care about be manipulated in that way,
Yeah.
right? And shout out to all the people who do my shout outs early. Shout out to all the people who are involved in domestic violence, counseling and support. It's to kind of watch that and be like, yeah, I see all the signs here.
Mm-hmm.
Is like, it's pretty powerful for them to have been able to do that. And I know we talked last time, I think, about, and we've talked about a few times about mature themes in general. And obviously we have the venerable episode 22. And Holly's talked about, trigger warnings and all this kind of stuff at the beginning of the episodes. Yeah, I mean, this was very, very, very well done, right? So anything else? Anything else heavy before we get to the
chaos?
Obscure.
Before we get to
The Claire Obscure.
Before we get to the obscure.
Sorry, I had to.
Anything else? If not, we can.
unfortunately.
This is going to be a really interesting conversation with three people who've done DMing in the room.
So we will switch our scene to the four of them, excuse me, being in the jail.
Well, I'm Parvis.
And
Yeah.
Parvis, excuse me. So yes, the five of them. Thank you, Shan.
I won't
Shan.
forget Parvis.
Thank
Radiant.
you, Jan.
Yes, the five of them. I mean, I think they regularly forget that Parvis is
They
there.
do.
But
They genuinely
I gotta be
do.
real.
It's
I
not
don't
just
even
Ben.
know if Harry even described Parvis being with them as well. He
I
also
think
forgot.
he did a
He did.
voice. He did like a I am here too.
and
like-
yeah.
When he listed where they were put in the different cells, I think he put Parvis in deliberately.
Yeah.
In that. So
Yeah.
that's our scene. You guys heard me say earlier that I think Ben had a bit of itchy trigger finger coming back to the table. I mean, he does do this he kind of oscillates, right? From like sit back and just kind of drink it in, and this kind of like, I've had too many espressos, I need to do something. And going back to the comment Harry was making about being a DM, sometimes you want to give your players an opportunity to just kind of think through a situation. And this was one of those times. And they just like literally just lit the table on fire, right? Like everybody forgot mechanically what it meant to be in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was like, oh, this is a dangerous situation. Let's just do risky stuff just because.
Well, in Ben's
right?
defense, he did explain that Radian was not thinking straight because Radian was triggered for being in a dark enclosed space.
100%.
Yeah,
but
so,
it
like,
wasn't just Ben doing
it
risky.
was not just Ben.
It was not just Ben doing
he
risky
tried to
stuff.
do a character moment, and then everything kind of went crazy from
It was
there.
not just Ben doing risky stuff just because.
Yeah.
You know, Holly's there with Elwyn with been like, I got no weapons and my hands are tied up and I can't see, guys. Right?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
There's a time and a place for being reckless, and I think in retrospect they'd look back at it and think, yeah, we played that badly. I mean, I was expecting them to at least settle down, had a conversation between themselves, waited until some guards came down, and tried to do some convincing, and to get themselves out. That kind of approach. But it's also the Radiant thing of, he says he wants to do something and someone says don't do it, but then no one gives another option, so he just goes, well, I'm just going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
No one else is acting. I need to act.
Usually, in fairness, it is Aoife that gives him that extra, and of course she can't because she's not there.
Yeah.
Right?
The one time he needs Dolly to be there, and he straight up is like,
I mean, they all did, right? Like none of them are really great at talking themselves out of a jam.
no.
Either mechanically or kind of as players so far.
Yeah.
So other than Aoife / Dolly, so yeah, you are kind of in a it's a kind of, well, it looks like a nail, I'm gonna hit it with a hammer kind of situation.
What I can
obviously
say,
it didn't go well.
Yeah. What I can say, on principle, I think we can all appreciate a player who's, willing to be like, okay, we've had enough planning, I'm going to do the thing, that kind of thing, or avoiding the talking around in circles kind of thing, which is a very common thing that happens in like a lot of things, and it's just common to happen. It happens. But also, like, it was also extreme. There was kind of almost a moment where I was kind of like thinking, literally the moderation of the discussion at the table needed literally like slow it down like a tiny little bit in ways. I think especially once the decisions got made, I think you could still recover from decisions being made. By decisions being made, I mean like the misty step out into a floor with 2 armed guards with one radian shaped twig, like next to 2 people with big metal swords. But yeah,
in fairness to Radiant, his immediate reaction to cast a web, if that succeeded, he would have been in a good position from then on. It's just he's unlucky with the DM save and his roll with chromatic orb failing. But
Attack rolls, gotta love them. It's
ghosts. The ghosts of it affecting Shan's house. What's going on there?
It's my dog.
Sounded like a specter.
it did.
But yeah.
They surely did.
Ooh.
They're definitely
Keep it in. It's a nice one for the audio listeners.
definitely.
I'm wondering if I'm needed.
We've already established that I don't like to edit the VODs if I can help it.
Yeah.
probably we'll get to the shenanigans of the Misty Step. But before we do, how do we feel about? And if you need to go and check, go and
I'm
check.
gonna
Shan.
mute. I'm gonna go check on them. Yeah.
Right.
We got World War Dog in Shan's basement here in Philly.
Have Shan's chair. What Six Pack Podcast brought to by Shan's chair. Anyway, sorry, you were saying, Doc. I completely derailed you.
While Shan's out, got any animals, Andy?
Nope.
Nope.
I don't. But my friend in Sweden, her cat Ella or Ellenwen is really lovely. She was really lovely while I was in Sweden. Pretty much decided to make a bed out of all of my clothes. So good for her.
Did you bring cat hair back?
Not cat hair back, no. I made good use of the washing machines and all that before I came home. So there we go.
So you didn't manage to have any cat hair then smuggled into the United Kingdom.
Importing foreign bodies.
Imported.
Yeah. What's the correct answer to that question? Because I'm trying to say no, I didn't. I've not brought any like cat hair into the country. If they've got any from that. Weirdly, okay. So here's the thing. Like, there's like a law where between like the UK and the EU, or like the UK and Sweden, you can't travel with meat or cheese products. They banned it. Cheese and meat contraband between now.
Judging by the
Airport.
state of the cheese in Sweden, we don't want that.
Dude, yeah, we need to talk about the tube cheese. We need to talk about it.
I don't think you want.
Did we already talk about it? I don't remember anymore. I feel like I've talked about it.
Yes, we did. We did talk about
gosh.
it when
Nightmare.
you were first there. Yes. Or
I mean, it's
maybe we only
nightmarish.
talked about it during the watch party
I don't know.
because you were
Look,
showing.
They have
pictures.
weird, gross tube cheese. And like recently I got messaged by one of the guys in the house who said, I saw this and I was thinking of you. And it was just an image or in Eco, which is like, you know, Tesco, but you know, in Sweden. And they had this they just had it was a tube of the tube cheese, but it was cheddar flavor. Cheddar flavor?
Ugh.
It's just wrong.
Just no.
Yeah.
Do you have
yeah.
a favorite? Do you have a favorite cheese, Harry?
Ooh, I mean, I do like cheddar. Cheddar, you know, Black Bomber, Black Bomber cheddar.
Black Bomber
boom.
is good. I can.
Oh, yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
I'm.
And
you
do you
know,
have a favorite cheese?
Yeah, it's cheddar.
Cheddar?
Usually Pilgrim's Choice or Cathedral
Mm.
City or something like that. But the extra mature stuff, not the normal.
What do you think? What do you think the Natural Six character's favorite cheese would be?
Favorite cheese?
Favorite cheese.
Another AMA question we can ask.
That's
Yeah.
a good AMA. That's
I
a
think
good AMA question.
Kelness would have something French and smelly,
Mm.
judging by what he got. At
His
Castle
general
Grenwood.
disposition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had that charcuterie board at Castle Grenwood, didn't he, with smelly cheese on.
What would be a really posh cheese? Like, I have a feeling that would be like Elowin and Dolly. Again, the fine dining. Good wines that go with good cheese that goes with wine. It's a classic. I mean, cheddar goes pretty decently with wine, right? At least it does with me.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, depending on the
Unfortunately, all of my answers are literally cheddar.
depending on the
So,
wine.
like,
Depending on the wine.
a camambert though.
So I'm
Let's
really
throw in a camembert.
I'm really partial to this one. I'll bring up this this.
This episode is freaking crazy.
We're going to cheese. Levin's. I do like a sheep cheese.
Yeah.
This is quite nice. From the mountains of Portugal. Also good with wine.
God, that Parmesan exists. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
God, Parmesan exists. A classic.
So this is good. When I'm in Portugal, that's a good one. Lots of nice local ones. There's also good local ones around me here on the Whirl. There's quite a few Cheshire small producers around us. We're not too far from the guys who produce Black Bomber, actually.
Oh, cool.
Because they're in Snowdonia.
Nice. Yeah. I think based on all of this, I don't know what we would do for I. I'm feeling like I'm feeling let's say Camembert for Kel. Let's say I'm kind of thinking.
Do we think that I is like a Baby Bell kind of guy?
What is a bait? Oh, wait, hold on. Oh my god, yes. Because you can also use it as like a distraction coin, like in Hitman.
Yeah. So for our
bring
video,
up the Baby Bells right now.
Those are Baby Bells.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I forgot those existed. That's wild. Yeah. I would actually have a Baby Bell. That's the character, not the me. Would. Radiant. I don't know about Radiant, but like weirdly, like my vibe is feeling Parmesan, and I don't know why. Just because it's strong. It's in like, small doses. I don't know. You could grate it.
Parmesan. I feel like he's
Parmesan. I just like Parmesan.
He thinks he likes some really she French or Swiss cheese, but then he actually eats it and spits it out. Right?
He says he likes blue. Maybe he says he likes blue.
Says he does, but he's never actually had any, right?
Yeah.
Are you partial to a Baby Bell? Andy, do you like a Baby Bell?
Yep.
Yeah?
It's good snack cheese.
Yeah.
Brilliant. There you go.
How's World War K9?
I mean, they were in the crates, so they just started screaming.
Ah.
Or at least one of them did. So I
We
took them both out.
were filling with cheese.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, you guys could talk about mechanics. I can't talk about mechanics.
We were filling with cheese. What's your favorite cheese, Shan?
That's a tough one. I like a lot of cheese. I like feta and provolone.
Oh, feta exists.
Mozzarella.
Fudge.
Yeah, feta's so good. I like American, but like the white American, like the real American cheese. I like a little bit of Swiss. I like pepper jack. I love pepper jack. Cheddar.
Cheese connoisseur, Shan.
Yeah, I like cheese.
Excellent. Maybe we'll have to add that to our questions for our guests.
Yeah, what kind of cheese?
All right. Swinging from the cheese shop in Barun back to the Haven Jail with our fivesome. And before we go misty stepping above the grate, how did we feel about Parvis's, oh no, don't leave me, but please, no, leave me moment?
I feel it kind of like, for me, I feel it kind of like, obviously it matches into the rest of the misty stepping and the instant. Like, to me, I get it, and like honestly, as like a table kind of thing, I do want to give Harry the break because he's very clearly just being like, doesn't want to have this kind of thing on there. However, like story-wise and that kind of thing, me personally, I do not see any reality where they do not properly, I don't see a reality where they fully leave him behind, and it's a thing that makes like fully a lot of sense to me. I really do hope they do that, because like that was the only thing. This series has been really like immersive and good. I like this series. I like Natural Six. In case it's not clear by the friggin' 11 episodes of this that we've done. But like that, I felt it just kind of like, it's something that just to me, I don't know, not like took me out a little bit, but just kind of like, there was something about it that just didn't feel quite right at the moment. And again, I think it was also because there was like a lot of kind of like rushing going on because of the high pressure situation that was created. But like, considering everything and a lot of like how I'm quite, I think a lot of us are quite invested in Parvus getting a good resolution, as Parvus is like winning the award of most done by narrative character, like most hard done by character currently. They're going through a lot of stuff. For them to essentially just kind of get forgotten by the party, kind of, and like, I don't know, might just like die in a jail cell or whatever. That just wouldn't feel right to me. That just wouldn't feel right. And again,
definitely doesn't feel narratively
satisfying.
No, not in the
However, I say that, but at the same time, I think that it would be really great if these guys have consequences that are completely their fault.
Yeah.
At the same time, I really want to skewer them with something that is directly fully their fault, fully avoidable, and they still did it, and it's fully their fault. So, in theory, I am on board for it, mostly because I like pain and suffering.
Interesting segue.
I want to
Anything
say
else?
something, but it's
Go.
going to be predictions, so I'm going to save it until then for what I exactly want to say. But I agree with you, Harry, when you said I think it feels like it takes you out of the game, but it's necessary from Harry the DM's point of view to have Parvus there.
Yeah.
As I don't think he really wants to keep tracking him through all of the other stuff that the party are going to do. Plus, it has a way to tie them back to come back as well. If Dolly can escape on her own, they still got to come back, which may mean another encounter with Nox if Dolly, escapes without resolving the thing with Nox. But in terms of predictions, I'll save that for later.
Good. Anything else before we Misty Step?
X. I've got the X, the cross arms going up.
We have now Misty Stepped. We have been about as reckless as we can possibly be.
I just want to say, the only thing that I would say, now hearing Andy talk about like, the web thing, I could appreciate it more. I don't think we should spend this whole thing like analyzing combat, because that would also just suck and also be boring and also not good. All I just want to say is like, during this whole kind of encounter of the thing, I was like, part of me was just kind of like, I would not web here. Web would be the last thing that I would do here. I appreciate why Ben does it. In that situation, I'm killing these guys. I need to do something that is not web here. Anything to do, I don't know, damage or something more of like that. In that scenario, I was a bit like, holy fudge, web was a choice.
He's a more utility caster rather than a pure damage.
I know.
mean, any other mage might have just gone, fireball.
Fireball. Yep.
Yeah.
Immediately.
But that's not Radiant style. So.
Definitely not. I mean, he did try the chromatic orb as well.
I think he should keep trying. He should keep trying chromatic orb. It will work. I promise you, Ben. It will work.
Yeah. When it works, he's going to roll a crit, and then it will chain several times.
There you go.
Just to make up for it.
I mean, I know, like, we're obviously not here to dissect every round of combat, even though Shan would love us to do that.
I'm not very good at following that because I don't know I have no input on that.
And also because like kind of just going into sort of the meta-gamey sort of aspect of it and like here's what they could have done better is like, at this point kind of like doing that, it just don't really care, to be honest, in the nicest way.
And people that do that seem to forget that when you're in the moment, you sometimes forget half of what your character can do.
Absolutely.
It's just like, that'll do.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Andy. Yeah. I mean, you feel the pressure. I think we all have our own. We talked about this, I think, with when Kenneth was on first episode, about one of the best things you can do as a player is to kind of know what tools you have in your toolbox, what your character is good at, and what tools you have in your toolbox, and kind of you have a playback in your mind when you're in these high pressure situations to know what things you can do and what things work well in which situations, right? And obviously that changes as your character gets more powerful, but this was definitely one of those pointing to the card on the desk and be like, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. And I mean, Harry said this. He's like, you should be dead, man. He said this in the action search. Like, you know, you should be dead. All it takes is for those, and you know, we've talked about this ad nauseum, of as they get more powerful, and this happened in this situation, though the NPCs you're fighting will have multi-attack. And when they do, they can dish out a ton of damage per round, and Radiant is pretty squishy. So it could have been very bad. And I feel like we're saying this every episode of it could have been very bad. And I know Ben keeps saying, oh, I don't care if the character dies, whatever. I'm not sure I believe that. But the recklessness, certainly, I think they'll think back on this now. I think you already said, Andy, of, maybe not the right call here.
I think, like, so this is just sort of like, one thing which I guess I'd be interested to ask both of you is how, like, if you're in this situation, how do you run this as a GM? Because, like, the one thing which I was thinking of in my view, because I feel it's, again, it goes back to that thing of they're getting very, like, head up, and specifically, like, Doug and Ben as sort of players do need, you know, if they kind of get put on the spot, they will just kind of, like, do something. And like, as a GM, what I like to sort of do is there are points where if they do something that is kind of like wild and it's kind of becoming a thing of they don't really know what's in their arsenal, what they could do, and that kind of thing. Ben does the teleport, that kind of thing, goes up there. I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to describe this situation for you. This is the situation. Here's everything that's happening. I switch back to Dolly. I think I do a hard switch back to Dolly for that bit. We cover over to that bit, and then after a bit, we switch back to that when they're all mentally equipped to deal with that. This is kind of where I'm at.
I think that would be that's an interesting technique to that situation. Because it does then give the player the opportunity to think about that situation. I will say, though, and going back to something you said a little bit earlier, Harry, I think before Shan had World War Dog, there is a bit of consequences of your own actions here, though. Right? And okay, if you make the decision more or less to walk in a room by yourself without anybody else around, and it might be full of guards, then you've made the decision to walk in the room, etc. Right? Just like if you've made the decision to leave Parvis in the jail, then you've made the decision to leave Parvis in the jail, and you're gonna have to live with the consequences of that. Right? Now, I don't think it's helpful, answering your question directly, I don't think it's helpful to put your players in a situation where they feel trapped, right? That's just not a fun situation, right, for anybody. At the same time, personally, I do feel like, your first character only dies once, right? So, and some of these guys, Ben, others, this is like their first character, right? Like, so having him die stupidly is kind of funny, but at the same time, I would not want to put my players in a situation where, like, basically, to use the kind of Oregon Trail meme of, your character dies of dysentery, kind of, hey, that's a bummer. This character that you've been playing for 300 hours or whatever just kind of like died in his sleep,
Yeah.
or drank a bad whatever and ended up with, you know, deadly food poisoning, right?
Dies of like old age.
Yeah. So I do, you know, these guys are probably going to have to come to grips with the fact that a character will die, and I think that's a, you know, that is a rite of passage for every player to have a player character that they are playing die, right? So I don't like the idea that you give your players, you know, a free pass every time that they're in a situation of this. And Harry said this a few times, like, I want you guys to be in a situation where you feel the peril, but you don't, it's not like you're at death's door every time, right? Or every round you're reaching for the deck of many friends, right? Like, that's not fun either. So it is a balance, but answering your question directly, I think in that situation, yeah, I'm trying to find a way to give the guy an out, right? Because he's really put himself in a situation where
I think it's one of those situations where he doesn't realize how bad the situation, like, it's different between if you're being like, this is a stupid situation that I'm definitely getting myself into. It's like, okay, cool. You've done that. It's like, you know, it's an are you sure? A multiple cutscenes will play in sequence like moment. If you do this, you'd be like, okay, I know when to slightly get off. But yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, this wasn't a situation where, and, you know, dialing ourselves back to Expedition 33, there are maps where you go towards it and it says danger at the bottom. Right? This was not a situation necessarily where there was a danger at the bottom, right? So, okay, you're going to give kind of a pass a little bit, right? But
at the same time, you shouldn't be going in there with 67 defense.
No.
Also, they should have had a bit of a context clue as to the danger they were in when the Gloam said that they were going to take over the guarding of these people. Because they know the Gloam would, at a drop of a hat, just kill them. No questions asked, no quarter given or anything like that. It's so.
Yes. That's really it, right? Like, I mean, you make that call. I think they handled it pretty well after that. Doug did his thing. Doug came up big. Kelnus tends to come up big in these situations.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of a get out of jail free card there.
I wrote down some banger quotes because you know me, I always write down the banger quotes.
Go, Shan.
Yes, hit us with some banger quotes.
Radiant just fell from the sky. Why was I in the sky? Was an incredible exchange. And then all the boys being boys. This is such a mad thing. Well, I didn't expect this. Also incredible.
Just like, how did you not expect this?
When Radiant gets saved and Kel just teleports them back. It's like,
yeah.
Why are we back here? Why was you up there? But also banger from Parvis when Parvis thinks they won't come back for him. Of course they're coming back for you, but like, tell him what we've done and what we have seen of this world. You will find the words to I. It was just great stuff. And just watching them all decide whether they should stay or go. And like, obviously they had to go. Like, it's because I feel like I got the vibe from some people like, oh, of course Radiant said let's go. And it's like, no, Elowen said let's go too. They can't stay. Logically, the right decision is to leave. They know how to get back in.
Yeah.
They cannot. They will die.
Mm-hmm.
They will definitely die if they stay. So
Yeah.
like they have to leave so they can go get their rest. Dolly is safe for now. They can take a little bit of time to sort what they want to do next. It is the right call to leave. Like, an Elwyn wouldn't say it if it wasn't the right call. Like, Elwyn's got like the most of the time the best judgment out of all of them. So
Yeah, and Alex was saying in Action Surge that him, the player, would have done that exactly to leave.
yeah,
But
the right thing
he
to do.
wanted to work it through with I to get to that decision,
Mm-hmm.
because otherwise it wouldn't feel right for I just to abandon them.
Yeah, to just abandon them. Yeah.
Yeah, Harry did go through a few kind of, not regrets, but just him saying, you know, it's tricky to put your players in a jail, right? And yeah, they're going to do wacky stuff. They don't like being in that type of situation. And yeah, they did wacky stuff.
Yep.
We are through that wacky stuff now, though.
I think
And
it was
unless-
necessary.
I
Like-
do think it was also funny to watch Ben squirm on Action Surge. I don't think I need to say why, but it was very funny.
It was.
It was very funny. You could see the recognition in his eyes when he realized he had to come up with a cover story. But at the same time, it led to like a really good conversation about deciding when something's the right time to do something anyway.
Yep.
And he'd already made a decision that was probably a bad idea. So like the whole deciding to pull back was smart in retrospect, but boy, you could see that he had said the wrong thing in his face when he said it.
Mm-hmm.
Very funny stuff.
Oh, the consequences of your actions, mother.
I think my only, like, I guess, big wish for the episode is like I do genuinely wish, like, at some point, like, again, as a GM, just using that tool of shifting focus away back to the other player, because like part of me was kind of feeling, again, I know Aoife was fine with it, but like part of me as like a player who's been in this situation before, feeling a bit like poor Aoife, who presumably Harry switched over to be like, you guys are in the jail, here's a bit of a jail scene, we're gonna switch back to Aoife, and nope, they did that whole thing, and then it kind of like, I felt a bit like almost like it kind of started a bit overshadowing some of the Dolly stuff, which as like, again, a part of the game, as part of the narrative, that's, you know, not what they're looking to do. And like, I think that's why this was a good moment to have now, just so they can like understand that as a group and maybe figure out how, you know, they can like, again, figure out that whole thing with agency and how to like, there's a difference between intending not to take space and doing something that accidentally unravels and takes the whole space. Like I've done that at times as well, like in my own games as well. I'm not friggin' like perfect, but I always feel really guilty about that. And it's just, I think it just comes down to just constantly checking in with your table really and be like, hey, are you fine if this ends up running along a bit longer than you might have thought?
100%, man. I think all of us have been in that situation of this is really dragging now. Like, I have opened this Pandora's box and I'm not sure how to close it.
I mean, like, even in like a meta sense, like here, you know, I'm just like talking about a lot like mechanic stuff and stuff like that, which only some of us can talk about. But, you know, Shan, obviously, you've not had your time yet. You will have your time.
No.
I'll make sure you have your time. But like, you know, even with that on that meta context is like wanting to make sure everyone still feels included.
Yeah. It's tricky to do that. And it's even trickier to do that when you are making a show for entertainment. Right? And Ben said that, and he's brash and unapologetic about it. It's like, we're making a show, and if we're screwing around, but we need to move on, right? So, and I will be the guy.
The audience wants us to move on. Yeah, I thought that was really funny when he was like, they probably want us to move on too.
Right? Like, you know, he's unapologetic about that, right? And whether you think that's the right play or not, and at your home game on your table, you're not going to do that, right? Like, you might spend the whole session talking about how we're going to get out of this jail, right? But and you're all in it, right? So it's fun to do that, right? And maybe one of your players is kind of like, geez, like
Should have physically locked them all in a jail. In the Natural Six jail, which
in the
they
Natural
definitely
Six
have.
jail, yeah.
In the tower.
So, but we digress. We're now out of the jail. We do some ridiculous rolls, which I'm still shocked that they managed to do all that basically without getting detected at all.
Ethan rolled a
pass-
17 in the tower.
I mean, pass without trace is OP. And Andy can, I think, sympathize with me on this.
Yeah. I mean, I as Harry's known in my game, I have outright said that there are times when you can't use it. Just to make sure that it doesn't get abused so much. But yeah, generally speaking.
Yep.
It's
It's the same thing that we talked about last time with reliable talent, and I did talk with Alex about this at MCM of like it's just so powerful, right? It completely changes how you can play the character. So anything else before we move into what we think might happen for 31?
I think that if a cleric rolls stealth through a pass without trace and they get like an insane score like 32 or higher,
Yep.
they should lose the ability for them to cast because their god can't see them. If they roll too high on a stealth check.
If they roll too high.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I have to say.
All right. Then I think it's time. Unless, Shan, you have anything else you'd like, any other wisdom you'd like to grace us with?
Let me go to my
Look through those notes.
action search notes. See if I said anything. That was funny. Oh, the there you are moment. Yeah, that was cool. Borderline suicidal made me laugh. That was a good one. I also wrote LOL underneath that particular Ben moment that I talked about earlier. I literally just wrote LOL. Harry saying his favorite bit was finally bringing Nox into the game. Which is true because he's been teased for a very long time. And like finally having him here and seeing the man himself.
20 odd
like,
episodes now. Yep.
Yeah, it's very exciting to have the man himself here. And by exciting, I mean,
He's just the plague he's inflicted.
It's nice to have the plot device.
Yes.
All right.
I'm deeply, I am deeply impressed by how uncomfortable Harry could make me feel.
31, which will air a week today. Who wants to go first?
Well, Andy, you had a prediction that you wanted to make.
Okay. It's kind of a spicy one.
We love bold and spicy. Go for it.
We love a spicy prediction.
So I think Parvus being in jail is going to be used as a means to extract influence and power over Dolly in some very unpleasant ways that
Like a
don't need to
hostage
be.
kind of situation. Oh, I like that. I like that, and it's good. I feel like the gang like bolting out of jail, the gang like dipping out of jail and leaving, and also Parvus being the only one remains could really mess up. Could be a really tough conversation because like Nox visuals could basically be like, "Hey, your friends just all abandoned you, and I'm still here." That's oh god, can I be annoying and make that my prediction to bounce off of your prediction and go one step further?
I'm alright with that. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Have
if
any
it's gonna
extra
be-
predictions as well if you want to go for double trouble?
Yeah, I'll think about another one. But yeah, that's the main thing that I'm thinking about.
Wow. Yeah.
Alright.
I think my prediction kind of similar to that, but just because I think it'll be very spicy. Episode title length. I'm feeling it's a threer.
Okay.
3-word title. But in reality, like I think the gang jump getting out of Dodge. Nox is going to basically say, you know, your so-called friends all abandoned you. You know, why not? Basically, you know, why not come back to me? Basically, he's going to say words effectively to that extent, and it's going to suck.
All right.
I thought of my second one, but let someone
Okay.
else go with theirs first. If
Right.
anyone else has got
Shan,
theirs
you ready to fire?
I'm still kind of cooking. The thing is, I don't think she'll believe the negativity because she told them she'd be okay. So
While you're
Like,
cooking. Go.
yeah. Well, I don't want to talk it through because it's going to take up more time. You know what I mean?
Well, while you're cooking, I'll just say I'm going to make some combat predictions.
Okay.
All right.
You're going
I
to do the
think-
parlay.
I don't think it's going to be any parlay.
No, I
Um,
mean, as in betting, sports betting.
Sports betting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think more than 10 NPCs die in 31.
Wipe them out.
More than 10 NPCs die. That's epic.
Is this named people or just any?
Just
Yeah. Okay. Just any.
so I
keeping
figure
the door open. We love it.
I figure they go back in, it gets spicy, and it's
Red wedding. Natural
Yep,
6.
it's red wedding, and I'll take it even a step further, which is that there is an attack roll on Nox.
Oh. I love that. That's bold.
All right.
But also, I want to change instead of 3-word title, 4-word title.
All right.
That's what I'm doing.
There's
And
never been more than 5. I checked.
Yeah.
This is tough.
Shan?
It's tough.
What are you
gonna
feeling?
You were gonna say that no more than
Well,
7 NPCs die. I know it.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't going for combat because I don't know. I feel like I don't know enough about combat to say anything about combat.
And if you want. There's no judging. We can
think-
figure it out how to get it.
Well, my first one's gonna be Holly mentioned that these next 2 episodes, one of them is the longest episode ever, and I'm gonna predict that this is it. Episode
Okay.
31 is the longest episode so far.
Okay.
That's my first one. That's my
That's a good
easy
one.
one. Because I've been listening to you guys and thinking, because you already know I'm really bad at predictions and like I've lost more than I've won because like I've never been good at predicting, and you can't predict what these people do on a good day.
No.
Because I was thinking about what Harry said, and I don't think even if he did say it, I don't think she'd believe him. Because not only was she promised, but she told them it was okay to leave her.
Mm-hmm.
So, she was promised by the worst person to make a promise, but she was promised.
Tricky.
It's tricky. It's hard.
She's playing 4D chess with a grandmaster here.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's a great idea.
I think she's gonna try.
Do you think the mushroom will come into play?
That's what I'm wondering. Should I predict that she's gonna try and use the mushroom? Not that she'll succeed, but I think she's
the poison
gonna try.
one.
Yeah, the poison mushroom that Radiant gave her. Like right
Ah.
now, she's kind of on her own. So it's like.
How about there is an attempt for the poisoned, or there is an attempt or consideration of the poison mushroom being used.
Maybe. And you know what? I also think this is a perfect opportunity. Please do it. I think Radiant might tell them about the card. Because now they get a rest moment. So they're alone. This is the only time he's... Because, like, I made that prediction and then realized they didn't have any time for him to talk about it in the first place. There was no way he was going to be able to tell them because they were surrounded by people the whole time, and then he had a panic attack and did the stupidest things he's ever done. So, yeah, I'll ring that one again, because last time I did a long game prediction, it did eventually pan out.
Yeah. Radiant will tell someone about the card Erastus Gracie incident.
Yeah, or at least warn them, like, hey guys, we're about to go into a... Because you're now officially going into a combat situation. There's no other option, right?
Yep.
Like, they escaped jail, and they are intending to save Dolly. So there's gonna be combat. So I think he has to warn them. If I pull a card, I did something bad. We can maybe use it to our advantage. But you should probably know that it happened.
Yep.
Because like he's gonna, you can't, it's not even just about Dolly. He can't pull a card without something going drastically wrong. And if you're going into combat, you need to tell them that. And he's, you know,
all right.
It's not like the worst. So you would like to think he'll make the right call this time.
I like it. it.
So 31's longest episode, Raging will warn someone about the...
And the mushroom.
Rest Gracie. You'll go in mushroom.
Poisoned
mushroom.
Poison mushroom will work its way back into the story after Raging
will work its way back into the story.
Yeah, he gave her the perfect tool, man. He smokes mushrooms, and Radiant gave her a poison mushroom.
I'm gonna give you...
Come on, man.
This is for the next episode. Bonus point if Erastus Gracie is dealt with via the poisoned mushroom. This is like a full Hitman contract now. That's not even a thing that's going to happen, but I'm just saying you get a bonus point if that happens.
I don't think poisonous mushrooms can kill him, but...
We don't know that. He has a healing potion that assumes he can drink.
What if, and Doc, you'll get this reference, he's immune to poison mushrooms? What if? What if he's had enough poison mushrooms that he is now immune to poison mushrooms? Erastus Gracie is immune to poisonous mushrooms.
I was looking at the Aboleth additional features. I wonder what kind of consequences that might have, but I will leave that to another. I'll leave that till after 31. Yeah. Cool. I think our predictions are done.
Yeah. I had an additional one.
Oh, go.
Hit it.
Hit us.
Another very out of left field thing. The escaping party will go into the caves and find kobolds and invite them to come back and rescue Parvis with them.
Ooh.
Get a little army together.
Ooh.
That'd be interesting.
What's that one more time for me so I can get it properly written?
They will find the kobolds and invite them back to have a party in Haven, plus rescue Parvis.
Mm-hmm.
Enlist them to help.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Excellent. I think
that's bold, and I like that bold.
That is
I
bold.
love that bold.
That is bold. All right. I think the spoliers can go down.
Spoliers.
We can start our mop up. Get your mops out.
No, I'll get the... Oh, you can't see it. I keep forgetting you can't see the trash can.
I don't
so hard, I broke the fourth wall.
I don't believe that Shan has ever had a mop, in fact.
That's a classic mop.
The first time, and never since, because I keep forgetting to bring it down.
And never again.
I just keep forgetting to bring it down.
Classic mop,
Andy. Trash can, though.
That is a classic mop.
But there's a trash can. You can't see
trash can? What trash can?
Invisible trash.
It's like a boolean.
Any other business, guys?
The only mop up that I want to mop up with, real quick, is live fact check on the Hitman. Live fact check about James Bond, 007 First Light. Wikipedia just worded it weirdly. they've announced that it's going to come out on the Nintendo Switch too, but just at some point. It's going to be a game that will release on that platform. So we've got PS5. It probably will be on PC too.
I certainly hope so. Yeah.
I don't have a hand.
Ooh, very nice.
my
Shan.
gosh.
Whoa. Magic trick.
Very nice. Anything else, guys?
No. Put it in the trash.
Cool. Bit of I guess BTS spoilers for those who are not on Patreon.
Yeah.
This episode, I think, is the one where they use the dice for the first time.
Yes. I believe so.
So
Which dice? The new dice.
If you-
Yeah, the natural 6 dice.
Yeah, the natural 6 dice.
Oh, yeah.
And-
They had the prototypes.
and they had
They
all
had-
of
they
they
had
had all
three
of the
different- 3 different prototypes. didn't they?
Prototypes,
And they
yep.
actually chose this one.
Very nice.
So if you want to get these like nuggets of cool stuff, then subscribe to the Patreon.
Mhm.
There's lots of great stuff there. Shall we roll some poly?
Yeah.
Let us
Let's
do
do it.
that.
Dice tower.
I'm going Natty 6 as Kickstarter dice.
Oh, you're going
I
to Kickstarter
wish.
dice? I'm rolling my natural 6 dice.
I have
for
the
the first time.
approximate Kickstarter natural
Man,
6
that
dice from Tabletop
D4
Dominion,
is
but they're
sharp,
metal.
dude.
Yeah, it really does
Oh, man.
that.
All right.
Are we doing it?
Oh boy.
Stinker. Oh, that's a stinker. Where is the D100?
That
There you
might
go.
be okay. And I'll write
D100.
everybody down.
Okay. There's a lot of 6s on here. I'm gonna be real.
Mine's very middle of the road.
Okay, let me see.
Yeah.
Calculator.
Right. That plus that. That. Why doesn't the Windows 10 search bar, Windows 11 search bar these days, it takes you to like Bing when you try typing in like calculations, but it doesn't take you to the Bing calculator. It tries to take you to websites that are calculators. And it's like, you have a widget built in. I know you do. Even better, just bring up the calculator app. Wow. That's wild. All right. I've got mine. Mine's okay, but it's not great. I feel I'm a probably Who thinks they've got the lowest?
Definitely not me.
Oh, it sounds like you've got the highest.
Mine's also what I would consider to be middling. So I'm not sure,
I'll
but
just
I'm
go.
feeling a bit more confident about mine.
I'll just go. I got an 89.
Okay, I got an 82.
65.
Okay. And Doc?
142.
Damn.
What were your rolls? What are the numbers? What are the numbers? That is crazy. I think isn't that a
There's got
record?
to be 100 on the.
So 100 on the percentile,
That's wild. Oh my gosh.
20 on the D20, 8 on the D12,
Oh my gosh.
4 on the D4,
Oh my gosh.
5 on the D10,
Oh my days.
or excuse me, on the D8,
Yeah.
and 3 on the D6.
That's amazing. You got to take a
142.
photo of that. Take a photo of that and like you got to send that in the server. That is revolutionary. All right. That sure happened. Well, that happened.
I did roll a 6 and a 17. That was pretty cool.
In the words of Chris Pratt, well, that just happened. Or in the word of Chris Pratt, he's behind me, isn't he? Whatever.
All right, I'm posting.
You are indeed posting. Oh,
And I wrote them down so I can add them to the thing.
ago. If you're still listening, I hope you're having a nice day.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Done. Post
Brilliant.
it.
Great.
Sweet.
That's good.
All right, get your d20s.
Right, D20, roll 2.
Initiative.
My little skull boy, do me okay.
17.
10.
8.
A natural 20.
Ooh.
Excellent. Would you like to go
Gets to go
first, or would you like to
first.
go last, sir?
I'll go
Shout
last.
outs.
I'll go last.
All right.
Fast to figure out your shout outs.
Excellent.
Then it's in reverse order then, right?
Yeah, I guess.
And Doc, you're up first, I think.
All right. Shout outs to Andy Elthanriel for coming on and joining us at such short notice. He is one of the first people to ask me about coming on. And he's been very patient in waiting while we worked our way through all the people who we had all asked ourselves to come on. And it's been great having him on here. It was lovely meeting him when we were in London. I hope to see him again in October. Thank you to Harry and Shan for co-hosting with me again for this crazy thing on a Tuesday night. And I think that's it. That's perfect. Harry. Well, very well done. So that's it for me.
Clean and simple. I think next up, that means it's Shan next.
All right. Well, obviously, shout out to Andy for coming on the show today. Shout out to Sandfall Games for making me cry a lot. Sandfall Interactive. Thank you. Shout out to Ben Starr. I hate you. Shout out to everybody who came to my stream and watched me cry for like 2 hours. Shout out to Harry who had to do 2 separate streams over 2 days.
I don't
because he
deserve a
didn't
shout
realize
out.
how long the dungeon was, and we didn't realize he wasn't in the dungeon.
Because
Mm.
nobody
But he
told.
offered-
I thought it felt very final area, but then it just wasn't.
It was not.
Also, I don't think I deserve the shout out because of what? Because like my streams were destroying like the emotional integrity of the game, and I was like laughing
It's
through
fine.
some of the saddest bits.
It's fine. He just it essentially insulted me by not crying at all when I sobbed through the entire end of the second act.
The quote was me going,
Um,
"This is awesome."
Yeah, a lot. Peak Cinema. Shout out to MCM for filming their panels. So that this time people didn't have to feel left out and bummered. Shout out to I don't know, I think that's actually it. Shout out to my dogs who were tired of being in their crates and decided to start screaming halfway through the podcast. It's
They do
like
that
they
from
were
time
dying.
to time.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So,
Lead us out, sir.
well, before Andy.
Andy,
But,
yeah, Andy
um,
still has to.
Mhm.
So shout out to Andy specifically because you pulled a fudging long con where I had a character name and you managed to find a way to bamboozle me after like 20 sessions into making my character a Final Fantasy VII reference. So here's a shout out to that. Shout outs don't necessarily have to be shout outs can be done with a vague veneer of I'm going to get you. So I'm going to get you for that. I'm going to
That's what I
get
did
you
to
for
Ben.
that. So yeah, shout out, I'm going to get you for that, Andy. Shout out to Mael Expedition for causing me to miss
Jennifer
so
English.
many. Yeah, thank you, Mael Expedition, for giving me the great advice of don't die. Thank you so much. Shout out to Shan and Doc. Thank you so much for the everything and the being the cool. Shout out to everyone who tolerated my live streams while I was being like, and also apologies to everyone who was, while I was streaming, I was not able to hear anything. I was just too focused in. I kept ignoring everyone's like comments or questions they were asking me, and I'm really sorry because that was really rude. But I was trying not to be. Shout out to the artist at Sandfall who put a chair in that one zone that I was very confused by. It was a specific chair that just confused me. Yeah, that's what we'll go with. Oh, and shout out to IO Interactive because I love Hitman. I want to play 007 First Light. If you need someone to test the game, I'm just saying, I know how to test games. Mm-hmm. All right, Andy, bring us home.
Well, shout out to you guys for inviting me on. It's been fun. Shout out to the MCM guys that I met on the Friday. It was great meeting loads of people in person. Shame I couldn't be there for the rest of the weekend, but maybe next time. Shout out to the guys that I DM for on Sunday. It's been really great, especially the engagement with the whole backstory that Harry's character has endured, and the multiple lore bombs I dropped on him.
Lore landmines. I stepped on the lore and it has exploded in my face, quite literally.
Yeah. To be expected.
Affectionate.
Yeah. I think that's about it. And just shout out to the rest of the podcast listeners, whoever you are.
Excellent. Well, if you don't know about the Natural Six YouTube or Patreon, I thank you for getting this far. I did have somebody comment, wow, I have no idea what this is, but I'm going to go check out Natural Six on YouTube at some point over the last couple episodes, I think, which was kind of cool. It's one of the reasons why we do this is to introduce people to the fandom and hopefully get them as enamored with all of this stuff as we are. With that, I think we can call it a show.
That was a show.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.